account. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, welcome back. Thanks versus Davis. Thank y'all for tuning in. Back in January, we did about 6 episodes in our officially unofficial return. It's February, Black History Month, Valentine's Day. My birthday's in 3 weeks, but the last week has been dominated by kind of four individuals in particular. But as you know, I'm Davis, as always, joined by Banks. This week we got a special guest. We had planned this about almost 2 weeks ago, and it just continued to escalate worse and worse in terms of like the severity of the stakes of the conversation of today's episode. But it's our guy from the Black Announce Table Discord, a man I ran into in LA, and probably he was like, "Is Davis an asshole? He doesn't seem very friendly." But Antonio, what's up? It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Yeah, good. Say good to be here with you guys. Not good to be discussing what we're discussing, I guess.
But I forgot you went to Mania, right? Last year.
Yeah, and then it was like the worst, right? Because like, so the Sunday, obviously, we all know who lost the main event and shit. And then
yeah,
Sunday we parked like way further from the exit of like the stadium or whatever. So I'm like, so Sunday we walked out way further from our seat. I had to watch dude take an L. And it was like crowded as fuck. I was like, all these fucking people everywhere, and I'm like, this fucking match is annoying. Because like night one was cool because like we parked pretty close to the exit, and it just ended with like Kevin Owens and Sammy winning. So I was like, oh,
yeah.
whatever. And then Cena was night 2 or 1, I forget.
No, Cena was night 1. He was
night 1,
night 1, wasn't he? Yeah.
The match sucked, but I mean, it was cool to see him
live. He was showing his age in that match.
Yeah, so like night 1, it was like perfect. I was like, the car's closed, we got out quick. And then night 2, I'm like, Cody loses. It took us like 45 minutes probably to like get out from the parking lot. So I was like, this is just all bad. And then yesterday, just fucking horrendous.
Well, that's the thing, like I said, so you're an LA native, like Banks. We've known each other for a few years, basically being internet friends. I briefly talked to you at Wale Mania. And you told me you were going to the show. I'm like, oh yeah, like knowing you being a Cody Rhodes stan, I'm like, I'm not praying for this man's downfall, but like, this man's probably gonna not see what he's gonna see. And obviously, like you just said, wouldn't have seen him take that L in that match of all matches, and just sitting there in the ring trying to have his John Cena WrestleMania 28 moment where he's just like contemplating, like, damn, I'm sitting here a loser after a year of talking shit. And to have to walk back to the parking lot, I can imagine how that is. But this, I think, is 10 times worse. Everything this week is 10 times worse than that one night. Wouldn't you agree?
Because it's like, I don't really understand. Like, I get what people are explaining, but to me, it's just like, does it make sense as like a viewer of this? I guess people say like a viewer of that show. Because it's like the whole year, because people are like, they haven't really interacted. I'm like, but the whole year they've been building to it, right? Like they do those, whatever, like fake real press conferences after shows and shit. And Cody's mentioned like, oh no, like, the title I want is that title, like the title Roman has. Like I think he even said it once. He's like, no disrespect to Seth Rollins or whatever. He's like, but that's not the title I want. He's like, and I don't fucking like say sources and shit or like articles. But I saw where it's like he even mentioned like I want to win the title and I want to win it like at WrestleMania, like in Philly. And then so yesterday was just like it like from the perspective of like watching the whole year go by, it's like none of it makes sense. And then like and people's whole argument is like best for business bullshit and like, oh, the sponsors are gonna pay way more. I'm like why would I care as like a person watching the show? I'm like, I'm not seeing any of that money. Like, why do I care about like Slim Jim's gonna pay $10 million more because The Rock is there instead of Cody? I'm like, what do I care about that? Like that's my only argument is everyone's argument is the whole best for business shit, and I'm like you're not in the business, like you're not like even if you own like WWE stock or whatever the hell it's called now, like that's such a small fraction. Like that sponsor's not gonna make a difference, like in your pockets and shit. Like that's only been like that's probably been the most annoying thing to like not listen to, but like read like on the timeline and shit. It's like the whole like, oh, but it's best for business. I'm like, who like why do you care about like the business thing. That's my thing.
No, I've said that. You probably know. I've said this the last couple of years where people, when they bring up tribalism, it's not so much content, like the actual content of the companies, it's what they represent online and financially. And not AEW for lack of big venues, TV ratings, but people should be judging their storylines, their matches, the wrestlers themselves, etc. Like, if you want to cover like a business, act like you're Forbes, act like you're Wall Street Journal. Don't act like you can balance out the pictures and different people with different contests and plays. And say someone's going to pay this much for a match, Pizza Hut going to pay this much, and that's we're going to start this after Rumble because this really starts all the way to last week. And it's crazy staying all the way, but Cody wins the Rumble. We'll work in reverse. He wins the Rumble, and it was a meh Rumble. A lot of people complain about the lack of surprises. I don't care that so and so didn't show up or we didn't have legends because that's not the point of the Rumble. Like it's very oversaturated in terms of we need the nostalgia of a big surprise, a big return. Like no, we don't. Like the roster at this stage is not a good place, especially with NXT stuff with it. But the Rumble itself was just boring. It was just paced slow, and then paced even slower at the end when we had the CM Punk Cody Rhodes standoff of who's going to out-survive who. And Cody Rhodes outlast CM Punk just point to Roman Reigns in his skybox and be like, "You, I want you," and then he goes to his press conference, and I don't get it. He, like you're saying, like he talks all this about Roman Reigns. I need Roman Reigns' title. I want Roman Reigns. This has been a year in the making. Why isn't it happening now? And people are saying it's CM Punk's injury, which happened during the Royal Rumble match. It was Seth Rollins' injury, which happened the week before. It's The Rock's return, which happened during the TKO announcement the previous week. And all these things factor into just a shit show. Not the Vince McMahon stuff. That's kind of really the farthest point from this. But logically, and I always think logically and literally, as a fan, especially as a creative person fan, use your logic, use your literal sense of know-how to explain this booking to me, and it hasn't made sense. Any scenario doesn't make sense. Even Cody challenging Seth because he can beat Seth, and he knows he can beat Seth because he's beaten him 3 times already. Because again, Booker of the Year, Vince McMahon was like, "I'm going to let this guy beat him 3 times with a torn fucking pec," and now it's I can beat this guy again when he's the injured one. Is that supposed to be like a double turn when they're both faces? What do you think about that, Banks? Because that's the part to me that's been like, you were the one like, this is weird. He's begging for a title match with a guy he's already beaten. And we'll get to the stuff that Roman said last night to where the Seth title doesn't mean shit. And we all have thoughts about that.
That's the best way to say this, man. Let's start when he broke that throne down in AEW. I think people forgot. Shouts out to Keek. She the one that said it. He ain't forget. He ain't forget. That's what Keek said a couple years ago when he signed. Mm-hmm. And it's blatant to see. Because again, like I've said all week too, it's been a crazy year and we just started. People don't change who they are. You just get older. He still has that ego, and this is showing right here. And then we'll cut to, I know you about to go for 30 talking about The Rock, but it's the point of it's the Dark Knight Rises era of WWE where it's continuity doesn't matter. So the dude points to the sign. That's what I'm confused by. He points to the sign, and then he going after that dude. But then the promo on Monday was a warning because it's like, all right, like, why is he having a conversation being Seth Rollins with Cody Rhodes? You look desperate. You made the title look like the 24/7 title. But then cut to, and like you said, we had a conversation. At that point, it ain't even the 24/7 title. It's the hardcore title. and Al Snow got it. No disrespect to Al Snow, a great worker. So now it's the point of you basically said this title on trash, but we're gonna give you this title because Dwayne want the main title, and y'all named it Bruno Sammartino's title, which it was Dusty Rhodes had it. He brought up his pops again, being Cody Rhodes, but now you ain't gonna get that title, maybe. So, I mean, it's been 12 hours. It's been numerous reports, like I said before we went live. I let you know everything you need to know that they like. Yeah, we fucked up because there's so many reports that have came out in the past 12 hours.
Antonio, you brought that up too, and it's hard to trust who says what. If you follow the NBA, if you follow the NFL, it's the same thing. Like the accuracy of reports change minute by minute, hour to hour, day by day in any situation. They said LeBron James was going to get traded. Like, come on, it's LeBron fucking James. Let's be real. But to see him come out last night in Alabama, like Eve said, like what did Alabama deserve to get The Rock showing up to kick this feud off? It's just a bigger fuck you to this guy who I've been saying this the last 3 years. And Antonio, I'm going to let you defend your man in a minute, but like they never wanted this guy. They brought him back to fuck with him. That was the biggest reason. It's insane. But it's the Vince McMahon Triple H mindset. When you're petty and you're pissed off and someone wrongs you, you're going to do whatever it takes. And Cody Rhodes was the biggest shit talker for 3 years once he left. He went out and said, how can they talk about NXT and Dusty's kids when Dusty's kids were there and they never cared about them? And my dad did this, and he came up with the names like Great American Bash and War Games, and they just want to profit off of that and not pay him the respect. And he gets his moments. He gets to do the intro to Great American Bash. He gets to compete in War Games. He gets to do all this shit that is attached to his family's legacy. And shit his father never did. His father never won the Rumble. I mean, his father did fuck all in WWE. He was a laughing stock. And Cody Rhodes gets to have these minor achievements that he already was achieving before. Again, this guy was an Intercontinental Champion, Tag Team Champion. He had accomplishments in his first run, and he came back because he wanted the top spot he never received. And just because he dyed his hair, put on some suits, and was all Mr. Republican about everything on this comeback, it ain't the same. It's, again, I was saying this, it's the same act in AEW that people shitted on, except it's in the company they like. So go ahead and I'll allow you to retort and defend your man as to why he deserves what's been taken from him.
No, well, it's like not self-explanatory, but like you had him win the Rumble back to back, and then you look at like the people that have done it, right? It's the racist guy that we don't talk about. It's Shawn Michaels, and it's Stone Cold, right? And then him. Yeah, whatever makes it through. So it's like, and then like you mentioned, even after the show, right? Like during the show, he does a thing. He points at the sign. He points at Roman, and then at the press conference, he's like, he's all just letting y'all know that I'm the guy, right? And it's like, so you're the guy, but you're just gonna like be like, oh, I'll step aside, like because I just like to do like not look at it from like a TV show thing again. So it's like, so you said you're the guy like in character, like at that presser after when you got asked about, which was also kind of fucked up that they sent him out first and made him answer the first question about Vince McMahon. Like I'm like, why don't you guys have a PR person there before the talent gets there to be like, hey, like if you're gonna ask something about him, ask us, and then the talent just ask him questions strictly about the show. Like that was kind of weird too. But it's like at the conference, he's like, I'm the guy. Like he's like, this is a message that I'm sending. Like it's me. Like I'm him basically. And then Friday comes and it's like, oh yeah, but I'm gonna step aside because your cousin, who's not really your cousin,
yeah.
So it's like it just doesn't make sense from just tracking the story beats. Like none of it makes sense because the Cody character is supposed to be like some guy who like, oh shit, dude. Wait, I think I got it. The Cody character is like some guy who's like okay, like hey, like again, as the song even says, even though the lyrics aren't really corny to a song, like they're very like they feel very like CW superhero shows. Like I'm not gonna lie, like just what the lyrics.
Hey,
say.
Don't you shit on "Save Me" by Remy Zero, okay?
No, I love that song, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like the lyrics are very
Somebody save me.
like you get what I'm saying, right? Like they're very like you'll find it like in a 2009 AMV about the Dark Knight or whatever Batman was out in 09. Like that's what the lyrics are like. As much as I'm a Cody fan, and it's like so like even his freaking song says like hard time. What his dad said like hard times breed better men and shit. So it's like so you're just gonna step to this like again character speaking wise, your character just gonna step to the side because essentially the message you sent yesterday is the Cody character essentially said, I want to take everything from Roman, but I need Roman like weakened in a way,
But
like,
I'm not the guy who can do it. Yeah,
like I can't be this Roman that's still because even though he lost Jay, he's still technically on top. Like he still has the boring version of Umaga, and then he has the less entertaining twin with him. So it's like okay, like I need the Rock to like weaken you. So like because to me, I kind of look at it as like essentially like let's say you delay it right to like SummerSlam or whatever that match between them. It's like essentially you're making your biggest baby face look like I kind of compared it to like a vulture. Like I'm gonna pick up the scraps of Roman after the Rock either beat him or just weaken his connection with the bloodline and shit. So it's like so by the time we do get to our match, like you're no longer like big boss Roman. You're kind of like you're cut down at the knees.
But that's where the flaws in this web of storytelling is, because that's what it is. It's just giant interconnected webs tangled through each other to where this match can happen at Elimination Chamber, being The Rock and Roman. It can happen at WrestleMania, most likely WrestleMania again, because they're having the press conference. But the way that they were setting it up instantly, it's like, are they doing this right now? Is he saying like, well, if The Rock can't beat you at Elimination Chamber, I'm going to challenge you at Mania? Like that logic almost kicked in for a second, but I'm like, oh, they announced a press conference right away, so we know where this is going. And like you said, like they can run it back. But the whole point is The Rock's not going to win the title just because, one, his schedule, two, they are so keen, like I've been saying, like other people have been saying, like Roman Reigns is meant to break this days held record. You don't just abandon that after 1,000 days. If you took it this far, you got to take it to the finish line. That's a real, like, you can't let your foot off the gas. Now we're almost there. And that's where like Cody winning this year wasn't going to make sense to me still. Cause I'm like, they want this guy to break the record. Why do they have this guy win the Rumble again? That's where like, we'll go back to the Rumble where CM Punk didn't win. I'm like, if CM Punk is supposed to challenge Seth, why doesn't he just win the match now? And then Cody finds another way to get, like, the story's not delayed, but it's just paused. He has to find his way to WrestleMania. And then The Rock can still show up and challenge Roman. And Cody's just in the same position he is now, but he's not forcefully given up. Other things have happened. That's where Banks always brings up the microwave booking of Triple H not knowing how to properly book. But maybe that goes back to in NXT, he could tell stories at a much slower pace because there were a lot of Full Sail tapings. It was a 1-hour show on the network, and they had takeover specials every 3 to 4 months. So you can do that type of storytelling that way. But weekly booking seems to bite him in the ass, besides overbooked finishes like every single Roman Reigns title match, the fucking Logan Paul match at Royal Rumble. Like a lot of the stuff is overthought, and they don't even realize until after, like, oh, we could have done it this way. What do you think about that? Where like CM Punk could have just won the Rumble. Granted, his injury would have fucked things up too, but we wouldn't have been in this position to where Cody's at the press conference, like you're saying, looking like an idiot just to contradict everything he says 5 days later. Either one of you can chime in on that, because that's the other discussing point, is the CM Punk injury is the other reason this is happening this way, supposedly.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony, if you're free. If not, then I'll go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. The CM Punk thing is kind of weird because I'm like, I mean, I'm also a CM Punk fan, but it's like you're really gonna have him win, like he didn't. I don't think. I think you mentioned it, right? He didn't win the Rumble like the first three. Like he never won.
No.
Yeah, so it's like, so you're gonna bring him back and he's gonna win the Royal Rumble right off the bat. Like to me, that was kind of weird too. And I'm like, you guys spent like you said, like if you guys had, because whether or not what the Rock the phrase he said on college game day when he was for some reason being a fake Colorado University alumni, even though he went to the U like at the peak U days, which is another thing that was to me was kind of annoying about him. But anyways, like if you didn't have the Rock locked in, like if you had like the idea like okay, this guy's looming over, and like if he wants to, he can step in and he'll we're gonna do this match because for some reason like they're like, and I get it from their perspective, like it's a big match, right? So like you kind of air quotes, you kind of have to book it when you get the chance to do it. So it's like if you're gonna have that match looming over, right? Like you said, like don't have Cody win the Rumble, maybe don't even have Punk win the Rumble. Like you can even do a thing where like I don't know, you can do the Daniel Bryan thing. So like have I don't know, like you were building up Drew McIntyre like as this big ass hater, right? So like have Drew win the Rumble or whatever, have him being versus Seth Rollins, right? And then obviously him and Punk were like kind of so like obviously I'm saying this beforehand before Punk got injured, so like the booking could always be okay, whatever. Drew won the Rumble, Punk really wants the WrestleMania main event, so just make him like a fake Daniel Bryan kind of thing, right? Like oh like me versus Drew at Elimination Chamber, right? Like if I win, I get added to the match, and then you add Punk that way. Then obviously if he's injured, then you just fucking tell Punk to go fucking take some, stop being clean and like take some roids or some shit so his tricep can stay on the bone for more than like a couple months. But yeah, I don't know I like that little mini match they had. That's what I liked about the Rumble last year too. I mean, last year's was better because obviously
last year's made sense.
Yeah, because Gunther's and also because Gunther's just a way better wrestler than CM Punk in 2024, obviously. So that little mini match he had with Cody at the end, like the match itself was actually good with Gunther, whereas with Punk, it really, to be honest, it really wasn't. It kind of felt like, ironically, The Rock came back. It kind of felt like Cena Rock too, because it was a lot of just Punk hit the GTS, Punk hit the pedigree. It was a lot of like finisher spamming. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm like, why didn't you have like? Because my logic now is like, why didn't you have someone that was going to challenge for the Seth belt, win the Rumble, and then that's a good fail safe in case Punk does get injured. Because even without the hindsight of Punk being injured, you saw him in AEW, and he was getting injured like every other match.
That was my whole when all y'all were losing your shit on Twitter. I'm like, did you not realize that this man got injured twice in one summer? He got injured at the start of the summer and the end of the summer, like, and everyone on every fucking podcast with every Twitter account was like, oh my God, he's back home where he needs to be. Like, this guy, he can't wrestle anymore. His body isn't meant for it. It's not saying like he doesn't have the love for the passion for it. He does, but his body is telling him no, clearly. And he himself is blindly ignoring that. Again, when he went on his Twitter rant, or Instagram rant, saying like he wasn't properly healed and Tony Khan asked him to come back, then that's another reason why he got injured again. Like, well, Vince McMahon kept telling you to do that, and look what happened. So you're obviously someone who's stupid and doesn't know that their body isn't made to keep wrestling while it's injured. And to see it happen this way did suck. Again, I wasn't wishing for this to happen. When I said watch him get injured again, it's just because we've seen the man the last 3 years. It is what it is at this point. I'm not hoping someone like him gets injured, because I have a dislike for him. You can't contradict everything you stand for and say, I came back to wrestling. I came back to my home. He did the same spiel in AEW that he was doing when he came back 3 months ago. And it's just because he's trying to get what he wants. And that's why I thought they would give him this Rumble win. Like, this is something I think wanted. This Mania main event is something he wanted, and he didn't get it at all. And that's why I'm like confused when he didn't win the Rumble and they gave it to Cody a second time. I'm like, but if Cody doesn't win, you're setting this guy up for an even bigger L. And that's what we just saw in one night. It didn't take till April to see him take this big L. If he beats Seth, it won't fucking matter. Like, it's not finishing the story like we're all saying. It's not even a side mission. It's like you abandon your story completely. I can't believe it's happening this way, but I should, because it's a company that's scared to take chances, as we've seen in the past. It's a company that's scared to piss people off, as we've seen in the past. It's a company that's not even scared to listen to its audience, because they will and they won't, but that doesn't even matter at the end of the day, because they care about the business, like we've been talking about the last 20 minutes. And WrestleMania sells itself. Again, CM Punk said that, and no one ever wants to acknowledge it. Acknowledge that when the guy said it doesn't matter what the WrestleMania main event is. WrestleMania is the draw, not Rock versus Roman. And you're right saying like they could make all this money from it. They could make it on a random ass pay-per-view, even that like you can make Money in the Bank the biggest pay-per-view of all time by announcing Roman and Rock takes place, or SummerSlam, like you just said. Like it's knowing you have this card in your back pocket and you can play it whenever. And they want to play it on these specific venues, on these specific dates when you don't have to do that. Banks, talk about the microwaved era of it all, because that's the one thing you've been hitting primarily the last couple of weeks when it comes to booking is how just rushed and forced and dull everything is, because the Bailey thing is the other part of it where that didn't have to be dragged out bit by bit. But when it happened last night, it was just like, that's all you could do for it. Like she's about to hit her with the belt and she's about to hit her with the pipe, but they stop. It was just so soapy and like undramatic. I'm like, who books this shit?
Nobody, because they don't have a booker. For all the people that say, and I'm not pro no company because ain't nobody cashing me out. All right, like me, I'm broke. So I ain't with none of these companies. All right, but I will say they making Tony Khan look like a genius right now because somebody is actually putting matches together over there. I don't know who. I don't know if it's him, but somebody put matches together. Whereas the E, they have no idea what they're doing. Now, again, it goes to my catchphrase. It's hard to get out of bed when you got silk sheets. So when you made $11 billion from one business endeavor, pun intended, into another one, which is Netflix for $5 billion, we already got your money. You won't watch anyway. That's what it is. Like, I can't even be mad at it anymore because why should I put on a good show? We already got their money. It's just like the races. Hey, oh, slow down, brother. We already got their money, Nick. We already got their money, brother. So it's like it don't matter. We got your money already. But far as what's going on with the booking, like I said, it's the microwave era as far as entertainment in general. From your movies, your TV shows, your music especially. It ain't even far as music go microwave era. It's just like, hey, dollar menu. Every now and then you'll get something. All right, and you'll be happy with it. But with wrestling now, specifically WWE, it's more so, I don't know, let's just put the match together because we already sold out the venue. And that's what it was with Bailey, because you could have just, kept bringing it up a little bit because now it's going to be, we still got 2 months left too, which is about to get, this is how you know it's about to get real bad because they doing everything at once 2 months in advance and they don't think that far ahead. So it's probably like, okay, cool. It's throwing darts at a board. So with the Bailey situation, I was saying in my mind, like, and Davis texted me, and I was like, you could have waited a little bit longer because now you got 2 months left. What's going to be the story? She get jumped, and then she got to look for some friends when she was already jumping people. So now she got to.
That's that story. That's what the next 2 months is for. And Tony, I want to ask you to chime in on this, and we'll get back because that's saying all these things happening at once is the part where it's super confusing. Because they were telling the story slowly was like she was kind of being the odd woman out in Damage Control. It seemed the Japanese woman had kind of fully taken the reins of the stable. They had that camaraderie, that chemistry with each other, and Bailey was the one not pulling weight. But what do you think about that as well happening last night, Antonio? Because we're trying to cover everything from the last week because it was a hectic week. And like I said, it's all interconnected through one event, really, which is Mania and the Rumble happening this far apart.
Yeah, I don't necessarily mind like the swiftness of the turn. Like I don't mind that one as much. What doesn't really make I kind of get it because it's like Io and Bailey are like the OG members, right? So it's like but it's like it's pretty clear that like Io brought in the other two. So I don't understand where the tension is supposed to come from that Io didn't want to hit Bailey, and kind of vice versa because it's like these are your people that these are not just because they're all like Japanese, but like these are like your friends that you brought into Damage Control. So it's like so the two because the Kabuki Warriors are the ones that jump Bailey, right? So it's like where does the tension come from? We're like, oh, I'm Io and I don't want to hit Bailey, but you know, at the end of the day, it was your friends that jumped Bailey. So like, I don't really get where the tension's supposed to come from there, because it's clear as day that like, I don't know what's it called, Io's friends jump Bailey, right? Because if it had been, I know she's injured, but like if Dakota had been the one that jumped Bailey, you could have seen more of a tension of like, okay, who's like, you know, Io could have done the whole more confused thing, like, okay, who's playing Io's side? Like, what side is Dakota playing on? Like, is Dakota playing, you know, like, is Dakota really doing this because of Io, or Dakota just took things into her own hands and kind of jumped Bailey just because, or not just because, but like another motive, but like, you know, it's like those are like Io's friends, so it's like, again, the hesitation to hit her, it's like your friends already jumped her, like just hit her with just take it all the way there.
Also, too, real quick, they haven't really been alluding to the fact that, I mean, they've been alluding to a little bit that the turn was going to happen, but not really. Like, they was just friends recently. Like, they shown a little bit of it, but for them to go full out, like, oh, I heard what you said about me in Japanese one time. It's like, okay.
It's that thing where, and the Dakota part is, again, that, like I'm saying, that card in your back pocket, like that's the true thing to play out over the next 2 months or the night of when it comes to WrestleMania. Like, will she cost Io the title, or will she cost Bayley the title? Like, they'll tease that out over the next 2 months potentially, or they'll again microwave it and she'll align with Bayley or stay with Damage Control. Because if Damage Control is just going to be Io, Asuka, and Kairi Sane, then Dakota and Bayley need one other person to take them on. And then, like you said, Banks, it's them trying to convert someone else from the roster who they've been beating up the last year almost to align with him, so it's a fair fight. And with Trinity back, that would make sense. With, I mean, Bianca Jade and Tiffany Stratton are women who don't have anything to do at Mania at the moment, but that's like they got all these things on the stove, but they're like almost all burning is the thing. And the big one is the Cody Seth thing, because Cody wins and then Seth comes out and says all this shit about Roman Reigns. And this is what Roman Reigns said about Brock Lesnar 7 years ago almost. No, it's not 5 years ago, basically. Shit, that's how like long ago it's been. Like, and it's like, yeah, I know, like Roman Reigns is Brock Lesnar. He's the champ that doesn't show up, and when he shows up, bullshit happens. I'm the workhorse champ. I'm the face of the company. We're like, Seth Rollins, you failed as the face of the company. You're not a marketable guy. They can't market jack shit with you. Like, and Roman Reigns cuts corners and this all that. You're the guy that cashed in at WrestleMania. You're the guy that broke up the Shield. Like, do you not know your own history, man? Like, do you not know you were the authority's handpicked guy? Like, your own version of storytelling doesn't add up to who you want to be currently. Again, like, you're like what Roman Reigns said last night. Like, you're a guy who wears his wife clothes. That's the most accurate thing ever. Like, Seth Rollins trying to run down Roman Reigns with all that. Hang on. I'm like, bro, do you not know? That's a real, I know you ain't talking because look at you. Like,
bro, the best thing about that promo was when he started off saying, my little brother. From there, it was just like he won just saying that. And then it just escalated. Like David just said, wearing your wife's clothes. The back thing was really the nail in the coffin when he said that. And then, no, that probably wasn't the nail in the coffin. It was like, I work 10 times less than you, make 10 more. Like, money talk, unless you're really good, you can't get that bar off. He got it off. I work 10 times less than you and make 10 more than you. Even
though he was saying his promo like he was Sinbad doing a routine in the 80s, like, yo, Seth Rollins, like,
and the over-exaggerating laugh made it even worse. I said,
again, like, and that's why Hollywood hasn't called this man. Y'all were tripping. Oh, Roman's gonna go to Hollywood. And like, no. That's why Logan Paul isn't in Hollywood. Listen to the promo he cut against Kevin Owens, and you wonder why his ass isn't in any movies, isn't on any TV shows.
Well, I'll be upset if he go to Hollywood because that means I can't get no more prime drink.
Oh my God, you are a sick man. But
y'all don't like prime? Okay.
Nah, it's like sugar in a bottle.
What's the problem? You never had Kool-Aid, brother?
It's like white Gatorade.
What's the problem? Again, what's the problem?
I mean,
yeah, well, you are the problem. First, but then here was the number one thing that Seth said that didn't make any sense. He said all the politicking, this not like you politicked your way into having that title. You threw bitch fits. He threw BFs because Roman Reigns wasn't showing up, wasn't defending the title, and because Seth Rollins was never able to get it. So they created this whole new title just for Seth Rollins, like they did 20 fucking years ago when his mentor Triple H threw bitch fits when Brock Lesnar took the one title to SmackDown, and they said, Triple H, you're going to be the IC champion. He said, I don't want to be an IC champion. Well. And then he fucking cried, and Eric Bischoff literally handed him a title and said, there you go. So again, people don't know their history. People never want to acknowledge what's happened prior, because what's happened, like Tenet, it's happened and it continues to happen again. Seth Rollins, you are Triple H with your brittle knees and your fucking you're never the biggest star in your era. Triple H was never the biggest star in his era. That's why he whined and cried and became a fucking creative in the company so then he can control it. And then the fucking guy who was a bigger star than him swooped in 20 years later and be like, I'll take control of this now. And it's the same guy who's related, as Antonio said, to the guy who's just fucking him over. It's insane. These fake father figures and the way stories repeat themselves over and over, and people can never acknowledge that or never see that. They're too blinded by the instant booking in their own fandom to not know like how literal this shit is a lot of the time.
It's my fault, Tony. I'm gonna let you go. Like I said, I don't want y'all to talk more than me. I've talked enough this past week. But it's like David said, and you know, I didn't coin this term. The great Roger Mayweather, may he rest in peace, coined the term. Most people don't know shit about boxing. I just use that analogy when it relates to a lot of stuff. Most people don't know shit about wrestling. It's like Tonio said earlier. Somebody was like, this is best for business. Davis just said it. Why? It's not best for business. They just made the money. YouTube is just showing that. I just sent y'all an article that just came out. And again, this is how you know they effed up a lot. Because in the past 12 hours, I've never seen anything like this ever. In the past 12 hours, it's been report after report after report. And then, like Davis just said, so let me go to that about pre-talk before we went live. So I had to retweet this because it was hilarious and the meme involved. It was like, wait a minute. So you saying Cody going to take the title off Seth just to unify the title if he take it off Roman for a title that's already unified? So it's like that's 4 titles in one basically, because the other 2 they basically retired. So because that Seth Rollins title couldn't get over, now he got to take that title, then unify at SummerSlam the title, because now it's blatant to see, which I'm not mad at. It's blatant to see that he will pass up Hulk Hogan, the Hollywood blonde jabroni, Hulk Hogan, the guitar player, bodybuilder, that Roman Reigns is going to pass him up. I'm all for that. But the crazy thing is, and see, this is how you know these people on these podcasts are peanut minded, because you stupid little bastard, if you understood what happened earlier this year, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody in the chat, everybody, thank you for being here too, like and subscribe. Anybody that's on this pod with me right now, did they not say they're going to have a Hulk Hogan celebration this year?
They have that every year, and people don't want to acknowledge it.
But it's supposed to be like a 40-year celebration.
Oh yeah, they had like free, not free. They had like new merch and everything because it's like 40 years. Or something.
Yeah,
they don't even really do that often. So it's like obviously they still like.
But low key they celebrate him every year in some small form or fashion, because again, like the whole him versus Ric Flair match in Saudi, they brought him for that WrestleMania 35 in New York. It's like they constantly bring this guy out and throw him in our face, knowing damn well like this guy's a racist. Like what the fuck? Like,
well, he's a liar. He's a racist.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's all wrestlers. Again, like Mr. $7 is the biggest liar of them all. Come on.
And here we go.
So, again, I know why you're mad, not just because you're a Cody stan and a Punk stan, but you're right to be mad, because if I'm watching this like a TV show, like following the creative beats, not knowing the behind the stage stuff, the backstage politics of it all, this doesn't make sense. But that's where it's tricky being a modern day wrestling fan is, unfortunately, the backstage stuff is constantly thrown in your face, whether you want to watch this as a show or not. And I always try to say, like, I don't think you can watch wrestling in a pure kayfabe sense because, decisions won't make sense to you. Again, like The Rock showing up, it does because they're family and all that, but then it just pushes Cody to the side. So realistically, shouldn't they have a match for this? As our guest in the next few weeks said, like The Rock jumped Cody in the rankings to get this title match. Like that was a clever thing to say, but it's like like logically The Rock shouldn't be showing up to challenge this guy. It should be Cody Rhodes because it's all been lining up for this thing, just like it was all lining up for CM Punk and Seth. But I know plans get screwed up and business takes control, but you can't just throw real creative to the side like that. And that's what always gets in the way. I know they said they had their plans for WrestleMania 30 in 2014, and they changed it for Daniel Bryan. And it was changed partly because of CM Punk, but their plan was Batista comes in, wins the Rumble, main events WrestleMania, wins the titles. That helps him promote Guardians of the Galaxy. And like the whole Yes movement happened because CM Punk left. They misbooked Daniel Bryan. And it's almost a reverse where like Cody Rhodes can be the new Daniel Bryan, but they're not going to force him into these matches still. Because like I said, like they don't fuck with him. And it doesn't matter that he moves merch, that he's a real draw in a sense. Like I see it and I hate it because again, I'm not a Cody Rhodes fan. I'm the furthest thing from it, but he gets reactions. His merch sells. Like they put him in these prominent spots. Again, he's on the cover of the video game. Banks, you had sent me the thing that CM Punk had said, like, yeah, you're on the cover of the video game. I was on the cover of the video game. Like, again, history repeats itself. A guy named Dwayne comes in, takes your spot. That's how storytelling goes for them in a weird way. Yeah, Van, you're right. It is. It's all, I always say this in anything, movies, TV, it's watch what's happening over here. Don't pay attention to what's over here. But the smokescreen of it all, again, is pissing off the viewers, and it's not going to do jack shit. You're still going to watch WrestleMania, right, Antonio?
I mean, yeah, I troll it. I'm gonna watch. Honestly, I even say I'm not gonna watch their match, but I mean, I'll end up. I mean, if it's on the TV, actually, I don't know. I think the Lakers play that Saturday or something.
Okay. Let's not be extreme here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be frustrated about something, but see, Antonio, you can't be mad about Cody Rhodes, and you root for the Dwayne Johnson of basketball, basically, and LeBron James.
All right, no, you going too far now.
A guy who comes in, kicks everything over, says, "I want it my way or the highway." Come on.
What's the issue, bro? It's been to a certain extent. Tom Brady has done that, bro. All great pro athletes.
He stayed in one team, and then when Tampa happened, he still won there.
He still got his way, right?
But then look what happened. But no, LeBron James is doing the same thing that Dwayne Johnson does. I'm going to bring my team with me. Brian Gewirtz is back. Remember him? The
one that eyes be always looking like this. Yeah. When
he
came up with the story.
It's no different than LeBron James being like, I need my teammates from Clutch. I need this guy from Rep. So you root for the Los Angeles Lakers. You root for Dwayne Johnson, basically. That you should, look in the mirror and acknowledge that.
All time, who a bigger draw, The Rock or LeBron?
Oh, I think it was
Space Jam was better, bro.
Space Jam is a better movie than Black Adam.
That's not saying much. That's like, oof.
It was a good movie. Stop it.
No, but I like LeBron because, like, just a quick aside, like, Laker fans that are like arrogant, like old Laker fans, like, where's the Lakers? And I'm like, dude, we were like, I'm saying we, like, I'm on the team. They were shit for like years before LeBron got
yeah.
Like, I see a lot of people say I'm a temporary non-Laker fan because LeBron is here. And I'm like, dude, they suck without LeBron. I'm like, they had the and then people now are like, because you know how that little tweet came out of like, oh, I'm hearing rumblings that LeBron's gonna get traded. I'm like, I'm still looking forward to this rebuild. And I'm like, dude, the Lakers drafted Brandon Ingram, D'Angelo Russell, not in that order. It was like D'Lo, Brandon Ingram, and Lonzo Ball back to back.
Julius Randle.
At the number
they had the rebuild.
Yeah, but like I mean, they had the rebuild, but none of them were stars, right? I'm like, so you guys trust these people to pick out a superstar? I'm like, they had the number 2 pick, which is like essentially, I mean, number 1 is obviously the premium, but like they had the number 2 pick 3 times in a row, and they didn't get even like a bona fide, like not even a superstar. They didn't get an all-star for either of those picks, and y'all are just like, well, I hate LeBron, so I can't wait till he leaves. So anyway,
well, in the Lakers sense, they like picking Randall and then picking Russell and then picking Ingram were smart. They were picking guys at 3 different positions, but then Alonzo Ball was a real like, oh, okay. I know the D'Angelo Russell thing was like the clock was ticking on that due to the Nick Young thing, but Magic Johnson not knowing how to run a team, Genie Bus, maybe knowing basketball, maybe not knowing basketball, and the Rob Pelinka of it all. Again, seeing your tweet, seeing you lash out at the Lakers is always funny to see because I'm just like, again, someone your age doesn't see Glory Day Lakers, doesn't see Showtime Lakers, doesn't see prime Shaq and Kobe in terms of like, your age now, seeing them back then. Like, that's not the case. You were young when that happened. You and I are in the same age when Kobe and Powell won those titles. It's like me and the Niners right now. I didn't see Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, 49ers. I never saw that. So the Niners I'm seeing now in the last 5 years have been better than the Niners that were for those previous 4 years. And then the Jim Harbaugh era was greater than what I saw the previous 4 years. It's that thing where when you're dog shit, you want something to instantly fix that. And the unfortunate part about LeBron James is he's able to fix it instantly, damn near. But then it's the biggest headache there is. And that's where I'm saying like he is Dwayne Johnson in that sense, or like The Rock's going to come in. He thinks he's going to save WrestleMania because CM Punk's injured, Vince McMahon's out and all that. Where it's like, no, you're creating a bigger headache because the Cody Rhodes thing is the real story. But like I've been saying, like the Cody Rhodes thing, it still shouldn't happen if you want Roman Reigns to break the record. So mismanagement, misbooking, it just, God, it's just frustrating to think about how we got here from it all, because at some point they should just taken the title off of Roman. We all know it. We've all been saying it. Like the bloodline story's gone cold. The Jimmy Uso thing of the Rumble was one of the most annoying things. Him trying to dap up every guy and needing a friend. It's just like, this guy's a loser now, and it's sad to see. Like, come on. You're the one married to Naomi, and you're like, I want to be your friend. I want to be your friend. Like, again, stand up.
Nah, but the whole Hogan record thing is funny because I got pushback on this one time. I'm like, and I've seen like TikToks about it, like from little like Mark kids or whatever. It's like when you really look at it, the whole 1,000 Days shit started with the version of with Seth's belt, with the red version of Seth's belt, because it started with the Universal title, and I said that I was like, that's the secondary title, and
yeah.
The pushback was, oh, but that's the one that like Brock always held. I'm like, it doesn't matter. That's the secondary title. Like, because if you think back to the history of it, the reason why AJ Styles got the WWE title was because they were like, okay, this guy was in TNA for years. Like, we're stamping this guy as like, yeah, he's like, he was in.
No, that's the main. No, that's the main title. The title he wins the main WWE title. Yeah.
Like when AJ won it, that was like a sign of like this indie guy from the outside. Hey, we think this guy's actually really good. Like, we gotta give it up to him. Pause. Like, we gotta give it up to him. He is one of the greatest of all time. Like, that's essentially why AJ held that title, the WWE one. And I'm like Roman's whole 1,000 Days started with the Universal title, because he didn't win the WWE one until he beat Brock at
exactly. Yeah. When they merged them at Mania. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the one that Stone Cold was at. So it's like, I'm like, even then, like the 1,000 Days is kind of like, so y'all are just
fraudulent. Yeah.
Like, now it's like, I get it. It's like a unified title. I'm like, but he was technically the secondary champion to start it all off.
But again, that goes back to their booking of like the way they handled the Unified Championship back in 2013 was ridiculous too, with the whole John Cena, Randy Orton. And then they never just separated the titles again. They created the Universal title, which again, like you're saying, like it was the red version that Finn Balor won, and Seth Rollins, again, his karma, again, everything that happens to Seth Rollins is his karma for injuring Sting, injuring Finn Balor, dating a Nazi. His whole history, it gets in his own way, I think, of personal decisions. But yeah, the Roman Reigns 1,000 record, like it's just, if you want to say it's a world title reign, that's over 1,000 days, then just say that, not the official WWE Championship, because it's not even the WWE Championship anymore. It's the WWE Universal Championship, like you just said. Like it's so unlike its own history, and that's where Banks says it's like boxing, right? Like these titles don't mean shit because WBC or WBO, right? Like who's the real champion at this division? It becomes so muddled to the point where it's unrecognizable from history. And what people I think are trying to say about the NBA now and in modern sports, where they try to extend the season or rename these awards, they're trying to be modern, but they didn't want to not disown their history and legacy, but it's trying to be modernizing yourself is shooting yourself in the foot a lot of the times. Like I do agree with the NBA 65 game thing, because realistically, if you sit out half of the season, you shouldn't get awards and all pro teams and stuff like that. You barely played, even if you were putting up numbers, but still, it's like, you got to play. That's the whole point. I should not reward the guy who played 70% of the games versus you. And Roman Reigns is the guy who's like, I don't want to play 65. I barely want to play 25. Fuck, like he's Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is CM Punk, because Ben Simmons played one game and was like, my back.
Go ahead, Antonio, before I say something.
It's his knee this last time, I think, right? It wasn't his back, which is worse because that means that's another injury.
No, it's his pussy. That's what it is.
Okay.
That's what's hurting, bro. I don't want to hear nothing about this boy, bro. I want to wild out and say what I think really is wrong with him, but I can't say it. All right, but this would be his last year with an NBA team. If somebody
will play more,
pick up the contract,
who will play more in the next 2 years, CM Punk or Ben Simmons?
I was about to wild out again. It'd be right there, bro. But Zach Gowen.
It's gonna be Ben, because Ben's gonna go to the team that he actually wants to play on.
What team is that?
He wants to be in La Familia, dude. He wants to be a Laker.
And again, what's going to happen then? How many times have the guys that played with LeBron that wanted to play with him worked out?
Yeah, I'm gonna see Ben Simmons and AD like in what is
again a guy talking about a guy who always gets injured. I mean,
no, he's been healthy this season though. AD.
No, Antonio knows this. He said he was missing the game the next day when he was at the NFC title game. I mean, the NFC divisional game.
Oh, that was fucking so dumb. Like, why does it? Like, that's the team's fault too. Like, why do you guys set him up like that? Like, he's at the game, and you tell the sideline reporter, "Hey, make sure you tweet out that AD's questionable tomorrow." Like, bro, like, protect your player. Like, do that.
And he caught a pass. Like it was like a leg injury, and he's clearly like able to catch a pass. Come on.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Like, motherfucker's knees hurt, and he's like catching passes and shit. I'm like, you guys should have tweeted that in the morning. Like, hey, AD woke up with his knee a little sore.
Yeah,
but
that would have been even worse if they did either. The whole situation, it's because these guys don't know how to handle the media. Again, like Cody Rhodes doesn't know how to handle the media. He wants to go out there, be a politician, tell people what they want to hear. My daddy. Again, when he said everyone brings up my dad, what was the first thing he said last night? The title my dad was taken away from him. It's like, you bring up the man every chance you get, and then you want to be like, why do people throw it in my face about my dad? Like
that's why he's my favorite wrestler, because being a hypocrite is one of the greatest things in life, you know?
At least you can acknowledge that. That's what I do respect you, because you can acknowledge hypocrisy. That's all I ask for from people. I say myself, Conor McGregor is a terrible human being. I know this. He is god awful. I can't wait to watch Roadhouse. I am psyched to see it, but I know this man is a piece of shit.
Michael Jordan for me. We know Michael Jordan is a horrible human being, but he won. So what can you say?
But picking Cody Rhodes, I don't feel bad for him. I honestly don't. I just watched this and I'm like, you did it to yourself. You literally did it to yourself. And good.
No, the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
No, not even the fucking CM Punk bullshit like that. Like, you knew going back, he had to know deep down in his heart, like, I'm not gonna get what I want. Because
that's
all
what I'm
those.
saying. You should have just stayed over there. Not to cut you off, you should have just stayed over there. Hey man, the grass could be greener where you are if you plant the flowers or you plant the grass. If you start the garden, all right, you'll make it. I shouldn't have did better with that analogy, but where you are is the soil. If you grow something, it might be better than what they got on the other side.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, my bad.
No, go ahead. No.
But like, he doesn't really like. I think I actually noticed that during the Rumble, right? I'm like 2 weeks ago, like he doesn't fit because I mean I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't watch AEW. Like I just don't. Like I kind of noticed how like my favorite wrestlers are like the fake workers, right? Because it's like because I think Banks has mentioned this too. Like CM Punk is kind of overrated as an in-ring performer. Like if you really think about it, because like his best matches are what John Cena. Who, no matter what people say, John Cena is actually a good wrestler when he feels like wrestling. His best matches, Brock Lesnar, who's I guess now redacted because he did some weird shit. His best match was that SummerSlam match was Brock Lesnar. Yeah, and then the Undertaker match was like the last good match. I've never been like a huge Undertaker fan, but it has been said that because he works like a slow pace, like his matches can be good if you have good chemistry with him. So I'm like, Cody doesn't really.
I've said this a lot. I've said this as well. When I did those White Noise episodes, I'm like, it's the same. Like this guy is a great worker. He's perhaps overrated in the sense of like being the greatest, but his version of overrated is different than Triple H version of overrated. I want to have Earl on the show to talk about that just so I can be like, you're fucking wrong for thinking Triple H is the greatest, Earl. You dumb fuck. Like, but continue because you are right. Like, I thought Cody was good in WWE, and I think that's what you're trying to say. Like the first time, like solid mid card worker, and then you see him on the Indies and then our Ring of Honor, New Japan. You're like, oh, he's not as good as these guys. But it's hard to be as good as Okada, as good as Kenny Omega in that era, which he wasn't. And then AEW was a company that's supposed to be for workers by workers in a way. And continue.
Which is what's happening with my bad.
No, go ahead, bro. I'll say it.
What's happening with Edge because Edge is one of my favorites too, right? But I acknowledge that Edge is also a fake worker. Like he's like one of those.
I'm cutting you off. Why?
I don't know.
He's right about Edge being a fake worker. He is.
The music.
No. Why is he one of your favorite workers? That's why I had to cut you off, Tonio.
It's probably 90% is the fact that the song is fucking. The song is his entrance song.
If you were a kid in 2006, Edge,
like, it's just like a banger. Like oh shit, Edge is coming out. Like,
yeah.
So, like Cody to me eventually had to leave AEW anyway. Like even if he doesn't ever get the title here, because again Cody just doesn't fit. Like because Edge, CM Punk, Cody, to a lesser extent, obviously I think people consider him one of the greatest of all time, Shawn Michaels, but I think even Shawn is kind of bordering. Like I kind of put it like that way. Like there's like Shawn, obviously it's people. That's two of the most influential people ever. Right? Like there's Shawn people, even though I don't find him that interesting. Like there's Bret Hart people, right? It's like Bret Hart people is like another redacted person that you can't really. We don't really talk about ever. The Canadian redacted person, the Rabbit Wolverine, Daniel Bryan, Eddie, Ray. They're way more super technical. And then like the fake workers are like to me are like Shawn's kids. It's like Cody, Edge. In ways, even though CM Punk loves Bret, CM Punk is more Shawn than he is Bret. Because again, CM Punk is like a fake worker. Where like that was my working theory. I'm like, oh, that's why I'm a Cody fan. So I just brought that up because you said like he should have stayed where he was watering the grass or whatever, but I just don't really see how he was ever gonna fit there completely. And I mean, I know the crowds are starting to boo him, and I just don't really see where Cody was gonna fit in now, especially if they bring in what's his name? They bring in like Okada, even right now AEW is kind of in a weird spot because like some of their main eventers aren't really workers either.
No, Tony. Hold on. Now I gotta break the fourth wall, and I gotta break kayfabe. Whenever you talk and go ahead, please. Like I tell Davis, always over talk me. All I was gonna say is real quick is, and you're doing a heck of a job too for somebody that just recorded. 98% of podcasters are bad. You definitely, if you ever decide to do this, you ain't gonna be part of that big number. But I'll say this: Okada, if he watching right now, he gotta be like, okay, not going over there. I was about to do a Japanese accent a while out. Not going over there. Just go to AEW.
Well, I told you, I think he's AW bound. I don't think he's going to WWE.
Yeah, go over there, bro. Because now you see what's going on. You like, even though Mr. Charlotte himself ain't there. Even though he ain't there no more, you got to be like, I'm not going over there. I go to AEW.
Okay. Take it easy. But no, what Antonio was saying is accurate. Where what MJF was doing the last 2 years is what Cody was doing. He was being the biggest star that his weakness is work rate, and your spot on the card, your spot on the show, you make up for it with your promo time and then your ability to hang with these better workers. Again, the whole point of Cody Rhodes being TNT champion was to put the spotlight on his opponents who were more work rate oriented, but lacked charisma or mic skills, the talent that he supposedly has. Because I don't think he's that great of a promo either, because it's so formulaic for him a lot of times. But everyone has 5 moves of doom. Everyone has the same formula for promos. For Cody Rhodes, it's not an interest of mine. But when he was in AEW, you could see the discrepancy between him and the bottom card and the top of the card. And he was in that middle, like you said. And Edge is the same thing. The thing with Edge, though, is he's a bitter old man who was mad his career was shortened 10 years ago, that he has to come back and be Triple H circa 2004 to the new generation, where he doesn't put people over and he just wants to talk shit about how much he loves wrestling and how much he's thankful he's able to wrestle and all that, and be a mentor when he doesn't mentor fucking anyone, because putting people over still matters. A win is still a win. If I'm able to say I beat Edge, even if it's old, broken down, Adam Copeland, I'm still able to say I beat Adam Copeland. It's that thing. Him showing up to beat Seth Rollins 2 out of 3 times. Him showing up to beat Finn Balor, 4 out of 5 times, I think, if you count the tag matches. It was just like putting over, even though Finn Balor's closer to his age, but still, the irony of that, but still that young, because on the ENC pod, you just talked about that young talent. I wish I could work that young talent today. Oh, I'm so mad I can't work it, because he would say that. And I'm like, I get it, man. You're mad you're retired, but like, you wouldn't be able to hang with this young talent because you were someone who was up and down when it came to work rate. He had his highs and he had his lows.
Hey, everybody that's in the chat, everybody that's on this pod, what Christian doing though?
But that was his calling card. What did he do in the 2000s? He went and he tried AJ Styles. He tried Samoa Joe. He tried Kurt Angle. He tried, tough competition. He faced Jeff Jarrett a few times and Abyss, but still.
Another Triple H type guy. I'm gonna put myself over. I'm gonna get the NWA title 20 times over, even over Monty Brown, Christian Cage, Abyss, AJ Styles. Even at that point, even though he was in the X division, I'm gonna take Kurt Angle wife. Can I just keep on bashing Jeff Jarrett? Or I gotta keep going? Oh, you want me to say it again? What Christian Cage be doing every week? The best worker in AEW. The best promo on AEW. What do he do every week? Probably the best promo on the game today besides Roman Reigns.
But again, why is he the best promo? Because he's able to, even though, again, you want to talk about his formula, it's the cheapest heat, not just the dead dad stuff, but your shitty town. I hate being here.
But don't it work? Because it's the cadence of how you say stuff and how you deliver it.
It works because people want to chant shit in wrestling. I say this to Kiki all the time. People will chant anything in wrestling. They will chant a racial slur if it was popular. They would chant a wrestling chant. It's all about crowd interaction. That's all it is. It's about being part of the show, being vocal. That's why the fucking $7 man got Cookie Puss over, because people want to chant shit.
Antonio, what you just called me? You said they chanting what?
Nah, because he's like, they'll chant a racial slur. It's probably like the crowd's like 80% white people. They're gonna say the racial slur.
No, but if it was a national,
what would they say?
If it was a character's chant, like on a count of 3, we're gonna say and the crowd would be like, "Yeah."
No, say it, Davis. Say it. You gonna tell me, yo? Say it. I gotta be like Samuel L. Jackson, Jingle. Say it.
I thought that clip was real for like a good week, and I was like, wait, this is a TV show. You know, talking about like the one with the news station where he's like, say.
Oh, the Delaware Lindo clip. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, say.
Yeah. That's from the Good Wife spinoff, I think. Yeah.
I want to see it. With hate in his eyes, he said, "Go ahead and say it."
Say it. Say it.
Yeah.
But no, it's just great. Like Seth Rollins, you're injured. Give up the title. You want to talk about politicking? You want to talk about being selfish? Not just your back, your knee. My knee don't work. Like,
and you're supposed to be a fighting champion. You can't fight right now because you hurt. So you got the title as a placeholder, which makes it even worse. This has been a bad week for that title. I'm like, bro, I don't even want it. At this point, Cody got to be like, man, can I get the IC title? That's more prestige anyway right now.
Yeah, that's why Gunter would step to him. He's like, shh, I've been doing more work than you. And I faced Chad Gable. I faced Tommaso Ciampa. I faced tougher competition that you beat. As much as I love him, old AJ Styles. You beat Drew McIntyre.
And he has a 600-day celebration on Monday.
Oh, Shinsuke Nakamura. You beat the laziest man in wrestling. Shinsuke Nakamura.
All right, don't do that. That's an understatement. Come on now. Or overstatement, I should say that. No, don't do that.
Jay Cutler of wrestling. Let me just show up, I guess. All right.
So y'all just see what's going on today. So he just want to be disrespectful, bro. He deserved to be lazy if you saying he's lazy.
You got all the talent in the world, Jay Cutler. And you're like, oh, I guess I'll try if I want. I don't know. Yeah.
No, his sugars be acting up, bro.
Oh yeah, his sugar.
Oh yeah, look at that. Right?
They try to say, they don't know. When you fail, they'll create excuses for you. Come on.
He got the sugars, bro. You can't throw away your blood sugar.
Then why are you playing quarterback?
What is we supposed to play offensive line? With
no, I'm saying if I'm a team again, I don't want a guy who's diabetic. Like, oh, did he not eat a cookie today? Let's not put him behind center. Like, you know.
That's so not fair, bro.
Because he said he didn't want diabetic. You don't want Zion? Or am I allowed to say?
You allowed to say.
So like when it comes to like, oh, why shouldn't we draft this guy? Well, he might have a blood sugar. You know, if it's low, he might not be playing good. Well, that's a cross off on my list. Again, it's like,
yeah, you got to manage it, bro. Give him some peppermints, some orange juice real quick on the sideline so they get it ready.
Yeah, but I also just think it wasn't very good.
No, Jay Cutler wasn't good. I do agree. He was the poorest version of Josh Allen in terms of like, look at the arm on this guy. It's like, okay, can he do anything else?
No. Well, no, David is right, people. All jokes aside, he is right. But at the same time, if I'm 36 years old.
But he was lazy because he was old. And I'm not saying like he was lazy to begin with. He was old. He got there. He's like, I don't have to try as hard. Okay. Yeah. He tried in NXT. But then he was like, but they saw what they were doing to his character when he went to the main roster. He's like, yeah, I'm over this shit. I'm losing to Jinder Mahal twice. Hell no, nope.
So
I ain't never trying again. I'm putting on a bodysuit, but with the zipper down. That's what he was doing.
Dog, so you're saying that Okada should go to the E because it's lighter to work, and then he don't have to work with a bunch of jabronis who aren't properly trained in AEW because most of the workers in today can't work, but especially a lot of AEW workers.
You saying he wants to be what Kevin Love on the Cavs post LeBron? Like, I'm just here to get my check and get mad when I don't get stats or something like that. Like,
I mean, he's at this point, yeah, just go get paid. So if he go to AEW, then it's like I don't have to work as much, and I can go back to Japan.
In AEW, he won't work as much either. In AEW, they're not going to do him like because Bryan Danielson, people are right saying Bryan Danielson gets as injured as CM Punk does, but that's because he continues to wrestle matches while injured. CM Punk gets injured, he's like, I got to stay home. Bryan Danielson's like, they broke my eye bone. Let me just put a shitty bandage around it and keep wrestling. Like,
you would if one of your wives was the Bella Twins.
What are you trying to say?
I'll never go home. I'm going to the store to get some cigarettes and never coming back. Did you see what happened today?
Oh,
yeah. Yo, Stephon, idiot. I'll be begging somebody to kick me in the head, bro. Ishii, you want to have a match?
Before we move into our next topic, I think we just got to talk about the final thing when it comes to this Cody Rhodes stuff is like, can you continue to root for a cuckold, Antonio, as you called him last night? Can you continue to root for a man who's been cucked twice?
I don't know, because there's a basketball player, I'm not going to name him, that I make fun of for being that. But again, I won't name him.
No, go ahead, because I'm trying to remember. I think you said it to me.
Yeah.
To one of, or if not the greatest shooter of all time. So I don't know. That was my biggest issue, right? Because I'm like, because I do like to try to pretend that I'm like a stan of like people like, you know, if people like say I feel bad for the human being Cody Rhodes. I'm like, at the end of the day, like as y'all said, at the end of the day, Rock and Cody, everyone, like you guys said, everyone's just playing backstage politics and wrestling, right? So it's like the human beings that are playing these characters, like they're all just politicking their way to their spot. But like the TV character to me is like, which is why I say I'm interested in watching Monday, but for full transparency, actually it's gonna rain here, but I usually don't watch Raw like at all. I just watch it on YouTube because I like go play basketball on Monday nights. But anyway, I'm kind of interested to see what they do with the character, but like right now the character to me is pretty damaged because of the way he stepped aside again. Like I don't care. Like in the end, I don't care that it's The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Like I don't care that much. It's just
a match that's not going to be good. Again, let's get that out the way.
Terrible. It's going to be awful.
Yeah.
It's like the way they did the character, the Cody character of like I'm the guy who like will wrestle with a torn pec, but like I'm just gonna
a match that also wasn't good. If we're being honest, like, come on.
No, that was the greatest match of the year.
Oh, okay. Here you go.
No, it was.
I'm gonna see a man be like, so when it comes to the crossroads, he's trying to hit the crossroads. Like,
hey, shout out to the Uganda kids. They did the best crossroads.
What did I just listened to 7 p.m. in Brooklyn and Mello and Mero were like, they act like the Willis Reed game. He scored 70. He scored 2 points on that knee. And they acted like the man. He came out there with a taped up bandaged knee, shot one shot, and they took his ass out the game. That's the Cody Rhodes torn pec match.
But the match was like 20 minutes though. It was good.
Yeah, 20 minutes of Seth Rollins bumping. It's like the Kota Ibushi versus the doll. Like
that's a little too.
Again, they ruined his character, Seth Rollins' character. Then when he lost to a one-armed man. And what are you crying about, Seth? You were ruined then.
Yeah, I don't
know.
That
man he crashed into a table on his damn self. It was. Oh God.
He should have won the middle match, to be honest.
Exactly, but like I always said, senile Vince McMahon.
Yeah, somebody actually just said that too. I sent you the clip.
Yeah, but again, whatever I say, you know.
No, but you can speak here.
As far as rooting for Cody, I don't know. I got to put that to the side a little bit. I don't know. It's just the character to me is just like you were that. This is like people always say like the title shouldn't make your character, but like his whole character since coming back has been
is
championship
and journey.
Now he's just
it's the journey to be champion.
Now he's like, oh, I'm gonna let you handle the big bro, and then just like walk away. Like what? Like none of this makes sense to me. Like, so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll still fucking watch his matches and shit, but I don't even know what he's gonna do. Like at Mania, like that the Seth matches is not gonna be interesting.
Nope.
Like to me, it shouldn't. To me, if that's really the way they go, that shouldn't even like close the show. Like, pick either of the women's, whichever feud is going better. Like whether if it's Rhea, Bianca, obviously that'll close. If it's Bianca Belair, if Bayley and Io, shift it to where it's actually gets like into a blood feud level, like then just let them close. But like, because I also don't want that Usos singles match.
Oh, that's not closing at all. I was. Yeah.
I'm like, please don't do that. I like not their characters. Like to me, Jimmy's character was funny for a while. But like David said earlier, it's gotten to the point now where it's like where he's now just a loser. like no ye and like oh I'm gonna call the audible, I'm the quarterback or whatever to Roman like in like that one segment, like that was funny, but I'm like the more you guys just continue to make him look goofy, like he just becomes a loser. But yeah, so I think I gotta put the Cody agenda on pause right now. Then LeBron might leave, so I'm down horrendous.
He'll be better for that. Again, no one wants to root for LeBron James at the end of the day. In terms of like their team, they want to root for him as the player, but you don't want to root for him if he's on your team.
That's a little border Fox News talk here.
I mean, yeah, the Usos main eventing. No, that's not possible at all. Last year I thought Seth and Logan Paul should have main evented night one. But then when there was like Usos versus Kevin Sami, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes much more sense. And they had a great match to main event, but yeah, the Cody Rhodes character, how can it rebound from this? Like I said, when his hero's journey is to capture the title, it's like I can't take you seriously, and that's when we have to think in the kayfabe sense of wrestling, of like rooting for the characters too. But that's the thing, like when our era of the reality blending into the kayfabe is tough to have these conversations, because people then want to be like the business conversation or the creative conversation. It all connects to each other, and I don't know. And Roman Reigns was not threatened by Cody. I know like he was trying to sell it in the skybox, but just for The Rock to show, and he barely even sold being threatened by The Rock. And that's another thing at the end of the day, like I'm not going to buy that this guy's ever going to lose, because I know at the end of the day, they want him to break this record, as we've been talking about. So when we all say nothing matters, or I know what's going to happen, it's not because we're mystics and psychics. It's because it's telegraphed. They're showing their hand and telling us. It's that type of storytelling. And that's why the Cody thing, I could see why people bought into it, where I'm going to win for my dad. And he had the best story last year, being injured and winning the Rumble at 30 and then going to WrestleMania Challenge. Like losing at WrestleMania, like that's a good, like, oh, but can he come back and win it a year later? I could see again why people rode the roller coaster, bought into it, even though they treated him just like they were treating CM Punk 10 years ago, just like they were treating John Cena after he lost to The Rock, where like he had mountains to climb and stuff to overcome. And it was all secondary. It was all wazzies, a woozy, fairy dust. It was bullshit. But going forward, is it ever going to be the same or mean anything? I agree with you. Like it's, if you're a fan, I guess you're like, I hope it happens one day, but it's, at the end of the day, they control it. Again, it's scripted. They can control it. They can just say tomorrow he wins at a fucking live event and be like, damn, that was quick. Like,
and then also we got to factor in, people just idiots. You got to factor in Fashion Nova Undertaker still got the briefcase. So it's like,
but what have I told you? If they don't want him to win a title, they gave him that briefcase to lose. Because if you look at the last people that have had the briefcase, Braun Strowman. All right, Brock Lesnar doesn't count because that was a like power play move. Otis won it, and then he lost it to The Miz. The Miz lost the title in a week. Big E, they treated his championship reign like dog shit. Who won it after Big E? Oh, Austin Theory. They treated him the worst than anyone. Like they treated him worse than when the fucking Damien Sandow won his briefcase. Austin Theory was like, I'll cash this. Like Eve was saying, Cody's gonna be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal because he ain't got nothing else to do. But like Austin Theory is like, I'm gonna use my briefcase to challenge for the US title. It's like that, and that's why he hasn't rebounded, because they treated him like an idiot. Like there's only so far you can take something to where like I can't respect your decisions. Banks and I, Antonio, I mean, I know you as well, but like the Fast and the Furious is fully off the rails. It's never coming back. I know people have said that it did in the first one, it did in this, blah, 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 when they dragged us. They're like, no, creatively, post Furious 7, it can never come back. It's gone. Like I said, Fate of the Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, they're entertaining for the type of movies they are. But continuity-wise for Fast 9 and Fast X, it's no, you've lost the plot. You can't recover from this. You can't become what you once were. And that's why some stories you have to kill and bury. And I think at this point, the Cody Rhodes story has to be killed and buried, because if he wins the Rumble again next year, he goes for the 3-peat. What are you gonna do now?
Yeah, because the only thing at this point, because he'll be the Hollywood Blondes or Bronies record during Mania, right? I mean, not Mania, I'm sorry, SummerSlam.
No, not even SummerSlam. I think it has to be closer to Survivor Series.
I'd say it's sometime in the fall.
But they've been messing with the numbers often.
Yeah, well, as we said, the title that's technically supposed to break that record isn't the real title, as we were saying in this episode. But in terms of like the greatest prize in WWE being that title he's holding, or a title like that going over the days, it's again. So, and who's he going to face after Rock? Is that when Cody steps up to him then? Because that's even worse. Again, like you gave up your big moment just to challenge him after. It's like you want to.
And then what big pay-per-view is like TLC?
After. Oh, you mean in the fall?
After Mania.
After Mania, it should be it's always like Backlash, right?
Yeah, they're going to like France or something.
Yeah, Backlash in France, and then it's Money in the Bank, or is it something in Saudi? I think.
What if you win the Money in the Bank?
They're doing one in Germany too. Isn't like the Bash in Berlin, right?
Yeah, that's probably where Gunther's gonna win. The title that got thrown to the fucking trash can this past week.
Yeah, but again, that title was thrown in the trash the minute like it was announced Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles. It was like, I wonder who's winning this match. The guy who whined and cried versus the guy who just came back from injury.
Guy did the job for Cody Rhodes. It was like, I know you're upset, so we're gonna give you basically the Saskatchewan title. Like,
that's all it is. It's all politics, and that's Antonio said it right. Like if that's what people want to look at it as, and then in business too, like. Then don't watch the show or don't get bothered by the creative. If you want big money match after big money match, then why does it matter that Jade Cargill has to be signed to SmackDown to face Bianca? Why does it matter that CM Punk has to win the Rumble to face whoever? Again, like I was saying, that it should have been CM Punk versus Roman, because that also made more sense than him versus Seth when you think about it. See, it was the Paul Heyman factor. It was he talked shit about Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns talked shit about him and their history more than him versus Seth. But either way,
the Marks think that was going to happen later on down the line. That wasn't going to happen.
No, I know that.
If there's one person that really got heat with Triple H, still they not. Again, what I told you last week, I said this dude ain't changed. He just got older and he got a health scare, so that made him change. He ain't changed. Shawn Michaels ain't changed. They old white dudes. White people don't change. No offense. White people don't change. No,
you're right.
Along older ones. So you're not going to convince me, the dude that y'all talked about earlier that was trying to put himself over when he was never that guy, is trying to convince me now that he's wanting to put over somebody that's more talented than him. Because CM Punk, and I don't like CM Punk, he better than Triple H. Have you not seen the show?
Yeah. Watch SmackDown last night. The Final Testament faced Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, and the match barely started. I wanted to be like Brian Alvarez. We're like, they booked the match, right? They booked the match. Final Testament versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. The match starts, and then it ends. There was no winner in the match. B-Fab comes out and attacks Scarlett because Scarlett attacked Bobby Lashley. It's like, who books this?
And I want that match to be at least 10 minutes, bro. Like,
yeah, well, that's going to be at Elimination Chamber because again, they don't have matches for that fucking card, and they got to drag everything out bit by bit. But they've been telling this boring ass story, and it's like, can Karrion Kross ever wrestle more than 5 minutes on TV? And I'm not saying that as a Karrion Kross hater, because I don't hate him. Like, can this man just do it? Because they had a good Fatal 4-Way tag match last night. Again, it's like these 4 good tag teams face off for a shot to face the titles, because the champions hold both tag titles, because they can't book shit. It's like,
And they the only titles that are two
and they
titles
show up on
instead of
one show. They never come to SmackDown.
And the promos is usually consist of, yeah, we got the titles. That's just the Taker. Yeah, we got the titles. And then Finn Balor. Yeah, we got the title. We got the titles. I can't do an Irish accent.
We got the tag team titles. Like,
that's it.
And then Dominic Mysterio talks to a mic and the crowd boos. And then Rhea Ripley comes out and like she does her thing. It's all again, nothing on that show was. I mean, Tiffany Stratton debuted. That's promising.
Yeah.
But nothing on that show last night was good. Even like again, Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory, a match we've seen over and over and over, as Marshawn Lynch said, over and over and over and over and over and over. Like we don't need that.
He another one. It's just these indie darlings, bro. They don't know how to sit down. You don't have to do that no more for $5 and a handshake. Like his foot is fractured. He want to still work, bro. If I'm making millions, I'm gonna find a reason to cash in the PTO. You know why? Because the shorty that showed up yesterday cashed in PTO every week, and she ain't had that on one match. She ain't wrestled since November. But y'all get enamored with. I know she looked good. She looked good, but everybody, oh God, can you do a match?
Hey,
go ahead, Tony. I get myself in trouble even more.
Yeah.
I give a.
But that's a good excuse to be on TV, right? If you look good. I mean,
that's all NXT is.
Wait, what?
Come on. Look at the matches on NXT that don't involve Ilya, Carmelo,
or Braun.
Anyone who was signed previous to 2018. Like,
yeah, I'm glad that this Twitter account I follow mentioned that it's like they're like people have already killed that joke of like Shawn Michaels' IG Explore page. Like I get it. You guys think
that's Twitter in a nutshell. They kill everything.
You guys think yes. A lot of the girls he signed are attractive, but we get it. You guys don't gotta do it every time someone's on TV.
Brother, I studied. I love you, Chris Brown, so we can have a conversation like this. I study pro wrestling. All right, ask this man. He be getting mad at me because I watch like Starrcade 1983. I do my homework, unlike most of these people that got podcasts. I don't have short-term memory. I synced it.
Actually, you like what we just talking about?
I synced it. No, I have great memory, but this don't mean thoughts that go through my mind. I see it. I don't care. Yeah, she looked good. It's called pro wrestling. I know they said they sports entertainment. Oh God, sports is right there. She an athlete. You got to do the sport. All right.
No, but no, I mean, the internet kills it. But again, the internet will kill something that they're a part of. People will say the Shawn Michaels IG thing while shitting on it as well. It's again the hypocrisy of everyone. We are in the age of hypocrisy, as I've said numerous times. That's the era we're in as a society. So, but Antonio, I'd asked you a few weeks ago because Valentine's Day is coming up. You are a rom-com fanatic. You are a teen comedy fanatic as well. But I wasn't sure. Did you see the Mean Girls reboot by chance? I know your girl Renee Rapp was in it, but I wasn't sure if you paid your money to go see that in the theater or not.
No, I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, it got really bad reviews, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. The people in the audience apparently didn't know it was a musical, and this goes. Banks, clip this out. There is a thing called Google. It exists. You can type something into Google and it will give you information about it. So when you want to know more about Mean Girls 2024 before seeing it, you can type it into Google and it will say a musical reboot of the 2004 comedy. That way you're not in the theater being like, why are they singing? Huh? But apparently, yeah, Antonio, it did get bad reviews for people saying it was an unnecessary musical, but it was a reboot of the 2004 movie, which was then adapted into a Broadway musical. So again, the internet exists. You are constantly on it while you're saying, why is this a musical? You can look it up yourself. Ugh.
Yeah, I think I Googled the movie and that was like the first. I think it literally said it like in the first link I clicked is like a musical remake. I was like, yeah, I get what people are saying, like the marketing, but like what
The marketing did hide it. It did. It buried it for real.
But I'm like, do you guys really watch? Like, do you guys actually watch commercials and ads when you're on like you're on YouTube or you're watching TV? Like, do you actually watch commercials like to where you're gonna blame solely the marketing for why you watched the musical that you didn't know was a musical?
Yeah, how many times? I guess this is different for people like us who are fans of movies and shows and sports, where I want to do the research. Like, again, like how often do you just go to the movie without doing any background on it, any research on it? Like, if I'm going to see a movie in the theater, there's a reason I'm going to see it. I've looked into it on this website. I've looked into it on that website. I've seen the commercials, so I kind of know what I'm expecting. I don't go in blind when it comes to seeing a movie in the theater.
But we not in that era, bro. Again, maybe I'm taking crazy pills. Maybe I just live in the movie They Live. If y'all never seen that movie with Roddy Piper, the most interesting thing he's ever done, because he was never over. Just go ahead and watch that movie They Live. No, it's true. He was the Triple H of his time. He wasn't that guy, but they just had you in that scene. That's why you never got a world title. I don't care about chewing bubble gum and smacking Polynesian people with coconuts. That don't move the needle. All I'm saying is we just in the air now. People don't do their research. We go, this looks interesting. I'm going to watch Mean Girls. Like, you not remember the movie? No? Okay, I'm not going to even look it up. I'm going to go off my little peanut brain and just go see it just because the poster looks nice. Then when I watch it, hey, what is this? Like, bruh, thank you, man. It just people just go in with no mindset, no concept of the synopsis of the movie. It's just
I think they will for the comic book movies in terms of like not knowing what happened in the previous ones because those are the popular ones. But when it came to Mean Girls, I think they fully expected it to be just a reboot of the original. I bet they probably had seen the Lindsay Lohan, Rachel McAdams one, but not. But Anthony, like I said, brought it up that it was not advertised as a musical in either trailer or commercial spot. Like the testing had been that bad where they're like truly trying to bury that aspect of the film, which was the whole film, to be honest, which is why like it should have just been like a Paramount Plus release or something, because it did make money. That's the crazy thing. It did make money. That and The Beekeeper are the only things that made money this year.
I gotta watch that at some point tonight or this weekend. You know what it is too, because everybody around our age range went to go see that movie.
Yeah,
or
the TikTok generation, yeah, or the who they probably sold it well on TikTok or whatever, because that's the other aspect is trying to get the women it's about to go and see it, not just the women who have aged out of that genre.
Yeah,
but no, I know Antonio, you were a fan of the original, but what are your other favorite teen comedies from of all time? I should say. I don't want to say a certain era, but give me your top 5 teen comedies.
Top 5 teen comedies. The number 1 is probably the original Mean Girls, which is a very basic answer. Number 2, probably Superbad, I would say.
See, that's.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. To me, Superbad's too adult, but I get it because it's about teenage guys. But I just mean that like PG-13 vibe. It is a teen comedy, but that's why I never try to count Superbad in teen comedies for me, even though it technically is one. Just because like they're saying fuck shit and all, and are just way grosser than other teen comedies are.
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I think it was because I watched it. I think I watched I think it came out when I was like in 6th grade or 7th grade. But we watched the video you have to watch for health class. So like I don't know, the jokes just in that moment seemed like way funnier to me. Like those jokes specifically.
Yeah,
I had just learned about when you like a girl. And,
Yeah, a lot. It was explanatory for a lot of things when it's like it's lingo and all that. I'm trying not to because a lot of the lines are insane to repeat. But
when you look at the ID Mac. Yeah, I can't say what I want.
When you put your P in a V,
yeah. So like the jokes are like really. I was like, it's like when you watch you know, when you used to watch like I don't know, not you, I don't want to say you guys did, but when you watch like those the rap Illuminati confirmed videos or whatever, that's how it felt.
I
I
definitely
was
used to
like,
watch
oh
those.
shit! So when the girl and the guy are like, because like I mean, obviously I knew about it because like you know by 6th grade, you know all that shit, but like just having seen the health video like a couple weeks before that, I was like, so it was. I was
I think
like,
the
for sure.
yeah, but the period on the leg thing I think is really freaked me out in terms of like, wait, that can happen? Like where she just bleeds on his leg through her genes, I guess. Like what the
And that's why she clenched them. She just clenched up
Yeah.
on him just for that reason.
I mean, no,
The
but
wild
Superbad
thing about-
is a classic. It is.
Mechanically,
Yeah.
that really makes sense. How the blood went through 2 sets of essentially.
That's what I mean. I'm like, huh? Like
3 sets of fabric. Right? 'Cause it'd have been her.
I mean, unless she was, free balling or the, the women of that, which would even be sicker, in raw denim.
Like
Like
they were doing coke at that party, so you never know.
that, but again, that party is great. But no, Superbad is a classic. All right, so what do you have at number 3?
Number 3, a teen. Well, it's more of a rom com, but I kind of grouped them more like people are.
Yeah, I told you kind of come up with either or just because of the genre.
In the teenage age. It's a really I don't know. It's an embarrassing movie to say. It's like to all the boys I loved before on Netflix.
Wow. See, I've never seen that.
Yeah, that movie. I forget. Although they do blend in, so I don't know if I like the first one or the second one more. But I don't know. I like that little series of movies. Like I think the girl is like a really good actress, and then the
Lana
dude,
Condor. Yeah.
Lana Condor, and then the dude is one of the reasons. Besides my now nemesis 7 Books man, was one of the reasons I wanted to go watch Black Adam, right? Because he was Adam Smasher.
Yeah. Noah Centineo. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I'd say that number 4.
Well, real quick, that is like because again, guys of our age, teen comedies dominated the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and the 2010s is like when it's flatlining. Because after the early 2010s, there's not many popular teen rom-coms, and that was kind of the last big one. I know the Kissing Booth too, but that's almost more kiddie in a way. And I mean, just like aimed at actual like 12 to 16-year-olds, all the boys a little before kind of is kind of for that like older teen demographic. But yeah, it's a series I've never wanted to get into. I hear like they're good, but I'm like, I'm good. Because after a while, like certain teen rom-coms are just not for me.
Yeah, I get what you're saying because it's like it just kind of started to die down. It kind of felt like those, in a way, like to go on a quick aside, like those kind of fell down the same time as those the parody scary movie ones. Because like the first 2 were funny, but then after that, like they were just like instead of writing good jokes, they were just like doing like the little punchline jokes. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, epic movie, disaster movie. I did like superhero movie. But yeah, those movies started just to like legit just rip scenes out of those movies and play them for cheap jokes. Meet the Spartans. I think I saw Meet the Spartans in the theater.
That was a really bad movie.
I think that was one of the few times as a kid or as a teen, I should say, where I know like, oh, this is a bad. I think I laughed. Because I on my IG Explorer, I saw a clip for New York Minute. I'm like, I saw New York Minute, the Mary-Kate and Ashley movie, in the theater. Like, I saw that with my cousins. Like, and I'm like, I enjoyed it when I saw it, and like it feels like forever ago. So, what do you have at number 4?
Number 4, probably the Cinderella story with the Hillary Duff.
Classic.
Yeah, that movie's so good.
Well, you're a big. I see you always tweeting about One Tree Hill. So you are you Chad Michael Murray Hive? Is he the star that was promised?
Yeah, because I actually I'm on my rewatch again, and I'm probably gonna stop at the same spot because he leaves after like the 6th season. So I like the show, but I've never finished the show because once he leaves and like his girl leaves, to me it's like because I'm like you built the show around him and his brother, and then one half of the whole main dynamic is gone. I was like, the fuck's the point of the show? But the CW does that a lot because then I remember another aside. I remember the Vampire Diaries they did the same thing. Like the main girl left like the last 2 seasons. I was like, how do you guys continue a show with the main character? But anyway, yeah,
I always say that's my problem with TV is when it goes on way too long and unnecessarily like so where key characters leave and you're like, why do we keep doing this? That's why New Girl after season 4, I'm like, we don't need to do this anymore.
And my fifth one. It's not New Girl. I was gonna say this one. I just had it on my. Oh, John Tucker Must Die is probably my fifth one. I fucking love that movie.
That's a good double feature of Cinderella Story because Cinderella Story is much more sweet, and John Tucker Must Die is kind of more. I don't want to say erotic, but it's kind of more adult than Cinderella Story is. If you know it, it's that like one's kind of really PG and the other's really PG-13 in like the way they were advertised. But John Tucker Must Die. That I'm gonna say mine. She's the Man is on one of mine. Is on my list, but that was the era when All American Rejects just dominated movie trailers. Like their songs just ruled the world from 2006 to 2007. But John Tucker Must Die, that's a good one. Banks, you've seen John Tucker Must Die?
I have, but it was like when it first came out. I haven't seen it since then because I was like, damn, bro. I know he a bad person, but they trying to get him up out of here.
But they do it in like the most fucked up ways, like giving a man estrogen pills. Like,
yeah, that's when he started tweaking out, and that's
during the basketball game.
They did that doing the Longest Yard too with Kevin Nash. It's like,
oh,
did he tear his quad when he took them?
He tore his quad getting out of bed this morning.
Yeah, found for that. Yeah.
With those shit knees. But no, John Tucker Must Die. I mean, it had talent. It was Ashanti, Sophia Bush, Ariel Kebbel, and Brittany Snow. I know that's your Mount Rushmore, Antonio.
Oh, Sophia Bush is also on One Tree Hill. It's another reason I watched that show.
Yeah. But no, so you don't have any of the classics. Like, so I would say Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Breakfast Club are the two best of the 80s. You don't respect the classics? You don't pay homage?
I forgot Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Breakfast Club, I've seen it, but I don't find that movie that entertaining. Like I it's good, but it's not like
that's like the hipsters go to.
Because I saw that like in high school film class. I was like, we're watching this old ass fucking movie.
Wow. I saw that. See, my mom showed me that movie when I was like 10 or 11. Maybe even younger. So yeah, maybe that's why I respect it. And I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off too. Again, well, John Hughes was the master of this genre in the 80s. The teen comedy was his because he had Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, and 16 Candles. My dad loves 16 Candles. But in the 90s, I'll go with Clueless. Again, one of my favorite movies of all time. And because it's technically a 90s movie because it's 1999, is 10 Things I Hate About You. And that's one of the all-timers in the teen comedy / rom-coms. Again, you ain't got love for the 90s either, Antonio? It's just all 2000s and forward?
Mostly, yeah. Clueless. I honestly don't think I've ever seen Clueless.
Oh my God. We got to do some more. We got to do proper vet. I mean, you live in Southern California. I mean, it's the pinnacle Southern California movie because it's a great Paul Rudd performance. It's probably one of the best Paul Rudd performances as Josh. She's in love with her own stepbrother, which is a little gross because he's older too. So it's a very problematic movie in today's age. But that and 10 Things I Hate About You are the era of Shakespeare adapted to teenagers because Clueless is Emma, but I think Emma is Jane Austen, not Shakespeare. I just got to double check on that. But, you know, when you adapt, it is a Jane Austen novel. Because that's why She's the Man is so good because it's an adaptation of Shakespeare. And it's one of Channing Tatum's best performances. And that's one of my 2000s movies along with... what was the other one? Damn it. But Easy A, as Sean had mentioned, is one of the last great teen comedies. Emma Stone, Our Girl, killing it. Great in Superbad, great in House Bunny, great in everything she's in. But in Easy A, by the guy who just did the Sydney Sweeney Glenn Powell movie, Anyone But You, which I didn't go see. Again, you didn't go support your girl Renee Rapp. I didn't go support my girl Sydney Sweeney by seeing Anyone But You. But I know that movie will be on Netflix in the next 2 months, which is why I'm waiting to see it then. Because going to pay to see a rom-com in the theater is just again, movie theaters are only getting my money at certain times this year. I paid to see Argyle. Banks and I are going to talk about that, which is an interesting movie, I'll say. But Midsummer Night's Dream, that was a different one because can't remember. But a lot of times in the 2000s, Shakespeare was adapted to these teen movies. I forget which one. But some of my other favorite rom-coms are that era where they were all the same, which were good-looking people that were constantly having sex, which is No Strings Attached, Friends with Benefits, and Love and Other Drugs. And then the final, I think, great rom-com, and Manny knows this, is Crazy Stupid Love. And that was a movie I had hated when I saw the trailer. And then when I saw it, I was like, that movie wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I'm like, this is a good bad movie. And then I rewatched it. I'm like, oh, this movie's actually pretty good. And then when I continue to rewatch it, I'm like, this movie's great. It has one of the great reveals, which I don't know why I didn't see it coming. That was one of the few twists I never saw coming in that movie. Unlike Argyle, where I saw the twist coming one twist coming as it was happening. But the teen comedy, the rom-coms, it's just not the dominant genre as it once used to be. But I think the best has to be When Harry Met Sally. Again, you got to pay homage to the classics because it tells the story of two people who aren't together and know they should be together. That's the formula for rom-coms. And it tells it over many years, and that's kind of the best way to do it. It has great friend characters, because that's the other aspects of rom-coms. It's the supporting cast. It's Carrie Fisher, who's like Meg Ryan's best friend, but she's attracted to married men. Billy Crystal's best friend is Bruno Kirby, and he's great. But the rom-com genre is two people who know they don't want to be together, but actually end up together at the end. And When Harry Met Sally has one of the best scenes when he tells her every reason why he wants to be with her, and it's one of my favorite. It's probably the best rom-com of all time. Banks, do you have any to add? Because I know this genre really isn't one of your. I know this genre really isn't one of your favorites. That's why.
No, I mean, again, like I said, I'll let y'all run the play. Just give me a chance to be quiet and do technical stuff. I will say, if we want to start with the 90s, man, She Gotta Have It, Players Club, Booty Call is definitely a rom-com. Nobody can tell me otherwise. But the greatest rom-com of all time is Boomerang with Eddie Murphy.
That's a good one. That is a good one, yeah.
The greatest rom-com ever. Nobody can tell me otherwise. Otherwise, now when you get to 2000, the Jason Biggs movie, got the name of, we had the little hair.
Oh, Loser.
Yeah, Loser, Spire. That's one of my favorite movies ever. Saving Silverman.
See, that's not a rom-com because they're adults. American Pie would. Oh no, that is a rom-com. I meant the teen movie because American Pie is close to Antonio's pick of Superbad. Yeah,
but that's a rom-com too. He's trying to get shorty.
Yeah. They're all trying to get laid. Yeah,
but yeah, he was like me if I'm next to Sweetie in that one scene
with the pie.
No, not the pie. When he, he tapped out quick.
I thought you were gonna hit the Doom bucket thing.
Nah. That'd be right next to Sweetie or that one that one boxer lady, I should say.
Oh, Alicia Baumgartner.
Yeah, I'm definitely. But yeah. Otherwise, now when you get to the 2000s, Coming to America could be considered a rom-com.
Yeah. Well, this is Dan Harmon, and he's someone who kind of gives good film advice, but he had said like he doesn't like rom-coms because to him romance is a season, like it's something to season a movie with. To build a whole movie around a romance is dumb, but a romance being in something makes the movie stronger.
And not Chris Brown. Boomerang is better than Coming to America. Coming to America is a masterpiece, but Boomerang is like they shouldn't have got nominated for an Oscar for that movie. I'm just saying that was around the same time when Pretty Lady came out. A couple years before Pretty Lady.
Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman, Pretty Lady, all of them.
Like Pretty Lady. Pretty Lady.
Now you need to get the fuck out.
No, the thing with Boomerang is like, are you that upset that you settle for Halle Berry just because Robin Givens pushes you to the side? Like, is it, like that's the only negative about that movie? Like, is this really a downgrade in your opinion? Like,
probably because
at that time, you think?
Yeah, because Robin Givens, like the Mike Tyson situation, she was on the TV show with Brad Pitt and all that. So it's like 21 Jump Street. So it's like, yeah,
she was on a different show, wasn't she?
I think
Robin,
so, yeah.
Oh God, was Holly Robinson Pete was on?
Yeah,
she was on Head of the Class, I think, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Holly Robinson that was in the great Mark Curry show that was stolen by Steve Harvey. Yeah. So hanging with Mr. Cooper. So yeah, but it was around the time so Robin Givens was looked at as the trophy because you gotta remember this is when Halle Berry was, you know what I mean, losing Isaiah. Like you could see that she was gonna be a Hall of Famer, but for some reason people didn't see it. Me back then, I would be like, oh no, they go LeBron right there. We need to figure out how we can get these trap picks to get her to the team. So
yeah, because the movie starts out where he tries to get a prime Layla Rashawn. It's like, all right, and then her feet are mangled, and he's like, yeah,
which is tripping. Like, bro, I don't care how her feet look.
Yeah, because I ain't a foot guy like Eve, so it's like you can have bad feet, just keep them covered.
You can say me, but yeah,
you Amp Eve, all y'all sick toe boys.
Like that's like
don't make yourself known.
Not really. Like that's like
wait, Antonio, I think you're a toe boy too, aren't you, Antonio?
Yeah, because he said if he sees Liv Morgan toe, he putting hot sauce on it.
That was different.
Wait, that was one of those quote tweets, right? Like,
yeah, I don't know. She had like a fucking. I swear she had like she was like the first time she was selling her little fragrance or whatever. Like someone was like, "You sold your bathwater at Bite." I was like, "All right."
I mean, they're probably very serious because somebody, I won't say who, said the same thing
about
Maxine Dupree. I don't know who said that about Maxine Dupree, but they need to get arrested. Chris Brown.
Who were you looking at last night, Banks? Because it was the Bailey promo. Like, yeah, because I'm watching the promo that she's got. I'm like, I know what she's doing, and I saw Twitter Banks had posted the sweating Blake Griffin, like.
When he was in the Pistons.
She knew what she was doing wearing that to her promo. Antonio, you forgot to talk about The Notebook. That wasn't in your list. You didn't mention that to me, but see,
oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I like that movie. I know it got like memed into like other movies, right? Like it became like so I don't like to mention it as like one of my favorites because like even in One Tree Hill that I'm rewatching, like there's a scene where a girl makes a guy like on their first date watch The Notebook. They're like, oh, he got Notebook because like he cried and shit. So like, I mean, I think it's a really good movie. I also watched it the first time in my high school film studies class because I just had to take a bullshit class to like fit my schedule as a senior.
Yeah,
it was good. I mean, I'm pretty sure I cried.
See, The Notebook is that as much as I'm like #1 Gosling stan, I refuse to see The Notebook. I've never seen it. And I don't fuck with that Nicholas Sparks Christian bullshit about romance and all of that. His did you ever see Dear John, Antonio?
Dear John,
the Channing Tatum Amanda Seyfried movie where he's the soldier and they write letters to each other.
I think the only Channing Tatum movies I see are Step Up and 21 Jump Street.
Okay, well this movie pissed me off so much that I never want to see a Nicholas Sparks adaptation ever again. And he's had a few, but yeah, The Notebook, like I said, it's been made fun of. It's a thing. You cried at The Notebook. Like guys like kind of make fun of it for that, or it's a thing in other rom-coms that gets compared to. How I Met Your Mother. He says he built the house that Ted says he built the house that he's living in, like he did in the Notebook. Yeah, it's a pinnacle. It's a staple, I should say, and a pinnacle in a way too of rom-coms. But for me, I don't like early Gosling. I like Gosling post 2010. Anything early Ryan Gosling, I'm not so much of a fan of, and that was kind of his big breakout with Rachel McAdams. But yeah, the whole I just know the what do you want? It's not that simple. What do you want? It's not that simple. That is what it's like arguing with a woman, though. That is accurate to this day. That was in like the 50s or 60s, something like that. But it's still that's not a. See, with teen comedies, we're trying to be like in kind of the teen rom-com way. That's where like that genre blends, because Superbad is much more uncommon to Varsity Blues. When a bunch of guys have wild and crazy times, again, that's American Pie and all that. But and I mean, there is a romance in Varsity Blues, but it's not the strongest part of that movie. It's a great football movie, though. One of the best. But Banks, is there anything else to talk about with Antonio before we wrap it up this week? Did you want to again ask him about the Lakers or the Dodgers? I mean, just so he can get upset about his team losing Shohei Ohtani to the crosstown rivals.
Our team, yeah.
I thought you were going to look for a new team like you're looking for a new football team. So
no, the football team is different. I had to do that by choice because I'm tired of this old cracker that won't die, just making bad decisions. All right, no disrespect to anybody in here. I love all the white fans here, but that's a home, not y'all. Anyhow, I just want Jerry Jones to, when he leaves, as what CM Punk said, the day that Vince McMahon dies, and then his doofus son-in-law
he said
take over.
I honestly think that this company will be better off when Vince McMahon is dead, but it's just going to get worse because of his stupid daughter-in-law. I mean, his stupid daughter and his idiot daughter and doofus son-in-law. Yeah, he had he was
the Cowboys.
You don't trust what's his boy's name? Steven.
He need to go. The youngest one might be in charge. The one that's only like 12. All right.
What if a kid ran a sports team like Little Big League? Do you remember that movie?
He'll be a better owner. Better yet, he'll be better than the Bus family. All right, and Rob Pelinka. You get an 11-year-old to run the Lakers right now, and they'll do a better organization.
So
you talking about P-minded, bro? Jenny is P-minded like a motherfucker, bro. I just think we just need to wait things out. No, cook the ham. Get the ham up out of here. No Swan.
Oh,
bro.
My God. Well, first of all, again, defend your team, or do you agree with this man that Darvin Ham and Jeannie Buss and everyone else needs to go?
No, he's right for sure. Because, well, it's kind of funny you guys brought up like the kid, like the younger Jones kid, because it's with the Lakers, it's kind of the same thing. Where like the not so we mean like the idiots are the older kids, because like the smarter ones are like the two younger kids that were like tossed aside to run the G League team, because they're the ones that found like Austin Reeves, they found Alex Caruso. So it's like they actually like they actually scout basketball and shit. Whereas like Jeannie and Rob, I mean, R.I.P. Kobe, but like Rob Pelinka only got that job because he did and now it's a joke because it's like the kid the Lakers drafted in the first round. Because I've always said I'm like a first round pick has all the bigger people involved. Like it has Pelinka, Jeannie, like a second round pick. How they find like Caruso and shit like that. They're like, oh, we'll leave that to the scouting people. And like the joke with Pelinka and that connects Pelinka to the kid that they drafted, the Hushafino, is that they're like all Hushafino had to say in his interview, pre-draft interview, was, "Oh, I'm a Kobe fan," and like he got drafted off that. So like he got the job because he's Kobe's agent, because he didn't have any other like experience running a front office, like in the front office. Like he was just an agent the whole time. He wasn't even like the main agent at whatever agency he was at. So it's like.
Well, to be fair, those types of hires happen a lot in basketball. Again, like Steve Kerr. He was part of the Phoenix Suns' own general manager group, and then he became an announcer. But again, like Mark Jackson hadn't been doing anything but calling games until the Warriors hired him. So we see crazy hires all the time in sports, not just basketball, but mainly basketball. It is like the agents or whoever, like the Leon Rose Worldwide West situation in New York. Van knows that well, that, Leon Rhodes was an agent. Worldwide West is like an unofficial agent, which is crazy to say. But still, yeah, the way the Lakers do things, it's just, they get mad that they sign someone and that someone doesn't work out, where it's like, you should have known Christian Wood was going to be Christian Wood. Did you think you were going to get something greater? Like, come on. But like the Cowboys fans, they got to overhype everything to make it seem like they're back on the way to the title. Granted, the Lakers did win a championship more recently, and I actually think their title counts. Out of all the COVID titles, there should count the most, because they at least finished their season, had a full playoffs. The Dodgers title doesn't count. The NFL title shouldn't count because the way that season went. But still, the Lakers are still, they're just annoying. I hate Laker fans. I hate the media with the Lakers. I just can't stand it. I honestly can't.
I hate Laker fans too, but
yeah, most don't know no shit about basketball.
Yeah, a lot of Laker fans, like you mentioned, like they do and now it's a joke too, because like people do that, like you said with Christian Wood, right? Everyone in the office is like, what is it, like Pelinka apology forms and like apologize to Rob Pelinka because he had such a great offseason. I'm like, what did he really do?
Yeah.
Like, okay, he brought back the people he was supposed to bring back because he essentially had no choice. Like, because it was the thing with like, you had to bring back everybody because the way the salary cap works and shit, like you couldn't fill their salary slot with anybody else. So it's like you had to bring back D'Lo, you had to bring back Rui, you had to bring back Reeves, because if you let him go, you can't replace him like a 1-to-1 replacement.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone was hyping up because there's someone I follow on Twitter that like said like he actually like will watch film and shit, and he was like, I'm watching this Torian sprint film. He's like, and he fucking stinks on defense. But everybody swore they're like, I got a 3-and-D wing for like $5 million, and now everybody hates Torian Prince. I'm like, well, if you guys watch, I'm like, all the teams Torian Prince has been on have been mediocre teams. I'm like, so I'm not saying like obviously he's not a superstar, so he's not the biggest difference maker. But I'm like, if he's playing, and he's playing even more here than he did on those teams. Like he was playing like 20, 24 minutes, and now he's playing like 35. I'm like, obviously he's gonna be bad. But yeah, Lakers fans are just, I don't know. It's just like you said, they just hype everything up, and then when it doesn't work out, they're like, it's like people told you.
End of
like,
the fucking world. Yeah.
Yeah, like Gabe Vincent, like all Miami fans were like,
no, I was just about to bring that up too. Well, the thing with Gabe Vincent is like, you shouldn't. I think you tweeted this too, Antonio, that I'm like, don't trust the people if they're leaving Miami because they only work within that system. Like that, whatever Spoelstra does with these, and I said this a few weeks ago, like he's actually a great coach because he's able to get something out of these guys. But if they leave, they just show like how nothing they really are. Like Tyler Johnson, when he left Miami to go play for the Nets, right? Like he was out of the league quick. That again, like Gabe Vincent has been playing for the Lakers. I think he's doing okay, and Max Strus is doing okay for the Cavs. But Manny tried to say like heat culture and is like one of the worst things that's happened to the word culture along with hip hop. I'm like, no, heat culture exists. It's just if you leave heat culture, it's a negative. Like that's a real cult. We talked about the Amish being a cult. Heat culture is a real cult.
It's because the thing is because both times the Lakers have gotten burned, it was also small guards. Like small guards should be like a no-go. Like just don't do it. Especially like in the modern NBA, like you're signing guys, because the first guy that burned them was Kendrick Nunn. It's actually dumber than Gabe, because Kendrick Nunn that was when they played the finals in the bubble. Kendrick Nunn got benched in that final. I mean, you guys signed the guy who didn't even play in the fucking finals against him. You guys signed him for what reason? Like other than because Max Strus, you said he's working in Cleveland, but because Max Strus is kind of like he's more of a wing, like he's kind of taller. He's just he's just a different type of profile and stuff like that. Because it's like Miami guards don't, to be honest, they don't really do that much. Because the way they run their offense is kind of like Bam does a lot of the post playmaking and stuff like that. And then, like you said, Spo actually draws plays. Like, bro, Darvin Ham just kind of like
go out there and play, guys. Good game.
Man up.
Man, he does the Doc Rivers. Get him.
Yeah, I'm like
watching just like us.
To people correctly, like go out there and hoop. But I think also like another issue is like people were like this team went to the Western Conference Finals or whatever. But I feel like if you look at like we were talking about wrestling, right? You look at history. There's usually one team that gets to the conference finals is kind
That
of
shouldn't be there.
Yeah, the Hawks. They have not been back or anywhere close to that level since they made it. The Blazers with Dame. After that, that was their peak. They got to the conference finals. Who else was the Suns themselves? The Suns got to the finals, and then look what happened. They blew up that whole team.
The Grizzlies.
Luka. They made the conference finals, and the next year was last year, right? Where they even tanked. Like I remember they got shit.
Yeah, they did it for the Kyrie. Yeah, because they weren't sure about keeping Kyrie or not. So they're like, maybe we'll get a pick instead, and they got both.
I mean, they got a good player because they got Derek Lively. But I'm like you guys, and then to me it's dumb because like Laker fans will be like, we only expect championships. I'm like so, because then you'll bring up a trade, right? And it's like, well, we can't trade away Rui. I'm like, so you guys only want titles, but you're like married, like emotionally attached to a player that only got you to the conference final. Like he didn't even get you to the final. Like this team only got you to the conference. And again, like I said, more than anything, like historically, it's like a fraudulent team usually makes it to the conference finals because it's also about the bracket, to be honest. Like,
yeah, they had beaten Memphis, who was injured, right, and then they beat the Warriors, who were injured as well, but I mean more so broken down in terms of their age. Like them beating the Kings just showed like the inexperience of the Kings. It's stuff like that. It's like you're saying, the bracket, the matchups, the history of the team itself, and the way they're playing currently. Because that's the thing about the NFL playoffs right now, even though we're about to wrap up, but like Detroit beat Kansas City. Granted, that was week 1, but they beat Kansas City. Baltimore beats the Niners. The Niners beat Detroit, and Kansas City beats Baltimore. It's just that weird way in football, like how it works. Over the course of a season, again, on any given Sunday, Thursday, or Saturday, whenever these games are played, something can happen. And when you play them does matter. And the Lakers, they got hot at the right time, and they beat the teams they were playing in the playoffs, but they weren't the superior team in that finals matchup against Denver. And they obviously won't be, and maybe they'll make the play-in. But we'll see.
I mean, the 2 all-stars take like every other game off.
But if LeBron stays and they get Bronny, are you going to be hyped for that? Or
I don't even, because I don't know. The thing is, I'm gonna be honest. I don't like. What do you do in that situation? Because I know he had the health scare or whatever. Like if you waste, if you waste your first round pick on Bronny after you just took, and again the guy they took Luchafino, he's only like 20, so I mean I guess I'll give him time. I'm like if you in a way waste, because the Lakers have also, that's also another thing people don't look at. The Lakers have I know they have late picks, but the Lakers have wasted like hella picks. Like I know some of them went to the Pelicans anyway, but they've also wasted because they sent after the title they sent a first away with Dennis Schroeder for Danny Green, right? And then you don't re-sign Dennis Schroeder, so it's like okay, so that pick went to shit because you traded away Danny Green, and then the guy you brought in for Danny Green left for free. And then I believe they didn't have their pick the next year, and then they took JHS last year. And then I think the Pelicans have had their picks either way. So they've either traded them away or I think they even traded a first for Russ. And then you also just trade for Russ and then you put a bunch of fucking people that can't shoot around, which never made sense to me. But I don't know. It all goes back to what you guys said. The Lakers are just like a poorly ran organization, to be honest. Like, because as people, I know like people from like basketball Twitter, like the Ringer, like to call it the margins, but that's actually important. Because like look at the Nuggets, right? The Christian Braun kid, like he wasn't a star. He didn't play the whole playoff run, but in the finals themselves versus Miami, he made an impact, right? He was a late first round pick. This year they drafted the kid from Gonzaga, Julian Strawther. He's doing decent. And again, that's a late because people are just like, why are the Lakers worrying about picks? Like, or why are they worrying about who we take? It's like that actually matters when you're well ran, but the Lakers are not well ran. And then as another side, that you brought up football or whatnot, the people were so annoying last week with the whole like the NFL is rigging this for the Chiefs. I'm like, that's the best quarterback on the planet, bro. Like They're not. I'm like, and also the Ravens just kept shooting themselves in the foot. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers
They got
had
two of the worst breaks. Yeah.
Zay Flowers had no reason to reach over the goal line like that. Like he could have either just because I think it was only second down, so it's like just just freaking strap the ball next to your chest and like either he's small as hell, so he's not bowling anyone over.
No, I don't.
Not at the one.
But I don't think him reaching was a problem. I think that guy just timed it perfectly to punch it out like that. I know what people are saying, like, yeah, keep it to your chest and that way it's not going to pop out. But I think that guy just punched it out perfectly. It was literally insane when I saw the replay. I'm like, oh shit, because I almost thought like, did he just drop it on impact as soon as he hit the ground? Because he was stretching with it. But I'm like Baltimore, they had a chance to win the game a number of times and they just couldn't convert. When Lamar threw those two big passes and then on the third one he threw the interception, it was like he was trying to win the game and to like compete to survive. It was just it was a bad situation. Granted, Kelsey was doing taunting as much as Zay Flowers was doing taunting. That's where it's like, let's be even-sided here with the officiating, but that's a whole other story.
That's Mr. Taylor Swift, man. They're not going to give him a flag for anything right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the race issue. Let's not bring in who he's dating. It's black man does a celebration, they give him a flag. White man does a celebration, they give him a statue. Let's be real here.
Pretty sure the king.
And then you mentioned the Lions. The Lions, I kind of paralleled to the Lakers last year because, like, yeah, because people were like shocked. I mean, I was shocked too that they blew that lead to the Niners or whatever. But again, it's like you look at it, I'm like, who did the Lions really beat together? Like, I mean, I'm a Rams fan, but like the Rams,
they beat your team who had a fight to get in.
Yeah,
like, they had a season from hell.
Exactly, and they had a roster of who's really actually good on that team? Like Stafford, Aaron Donald, and Puka, basically, because like Cooper Kupp.
No, you can't say Puka because he was someone who became the star over the season. Like when the season starts, no one's looking at that guy. Over the course of a season, that guy's a star. So like that's what I'm saying, and what you're saying. Like they became a team towards the end of the season after everything was looking up. Like, oh, if you catch this team on the wrong night, you might be in trouble. Because Matt Stafford can still be Matt Stafford, even though he does his Matt Stafford shit, which is throw a pick at the wrong time. But he's still got his tricks and his throws to survive. Again, that's why he's been playing all these years. They beat the Rams in a close game. Again, it wasn't a blowout like the game against Tampa Bay, where Tampa Bay was trying to give them the game away too. But
exactly, and they beat Baker Mayfield. Like the Lions didn't really beat anybody, which is why it's funny because there's like a lot of times like people are always but they have a bright future. I'm like, that's not how football kind of works. Because I know to me, that's where football does differ a lot from basketball. Because like basketball, you can still kind of see because for example, when the Bucks finally won, right? Like you could kind of see like, okay, Giannis is getting better. Like, oh, and then they finally break through. But like football's such a luck thing because like people try to do the whole like the Lions have a bright future and like the Lions are going to be elite next year. I'm like, football's so like variable. Like, are we sure the Lions are going to be like,
they might, because their division is still up in the air. It doesn't help that Green Bay actually looks good still, and Minnesota, they had a injury at the wrong time because they would have been fighting for that playoff spot too. And same like Chicago started off bad early in the season, then finished good towards the end, but they're still, again, they have the number one pick because another team gave it to them basically. So the Lions are going to be in a tough division next year, but by being so young, like you can still have a future because being young in football helps, especially if you're young on a cheap contract and you're good. Versus what you're saying, like when the Bucks finally broke through after being so close the previous 2 years, and then they kind of still were hanging around after. But then, like we started saying, Chris Middleton's older and he's injured. Brook Lopez is older and he gets injured. What's going to happen? You give away Drew Holiday. What's for a guy like Damian Lillard who's not going to play defense? What's going to happen? Your team isn't going to look like a contender. So Detroit has to hold on to these pieces, or maybe they upgrade from Jared Goff to someone else. They do what Detroit did with Stafford. Like, let's swap you out for someone else instead. But no, because CJ had asked me, like, what was I thinking? Like, was I scared at halftime? I'm like, there's still a lot of game to be played. I'm like, I was upset, like we're playing like shit, and I'm like, we start like shit out the gate, it's going to be over. Luckily, they kind of picked it up. But I'm like, it's still Jared Goff. I mean, and it's football, and crazy shit can happen again. A fumble can happen at the wrong moment. And that's what happened in that game. And you go 3 and out, that swings momentum, and it played out that exact way. But I was scared at halftime. Like, damn. I'm not scared. I'm just like, damn, this doesn't look good. They're just going to come out of halftime and steamroll us like they've been. But I think that's all we have for this episode. Antonio, thank you for joining us. Plug whatever you got to plug before you get out of here.
I'm not going to plug anything, man. I'm not going to tweet about wrestling right now.
That's a lot. That's cap. That's cap.
I mean, I'll probably tweet about whatever bullshit promo they got him. Because I know Cody's scheduled for, he's scheduled for like every fucking show.
Yeah.
He actually works on the 2 champions.
Also, it's a new report that just came out too.
Yeah, they'll make him go out there.
But again, don't trust the reports yet. We got to see it to believe it. Okay.
No, but that's how you know it might be legit. It might be like y'all said, a smoke screen, but it might be legit. Like, oh yeah, we fucked up because every hour it's been something since last night. So apparently they like, yeah, they might pivot just because they see them thumbs down on YouTube. Yeah, the YouTube broke a record for like 500,000 and counting, like thumbs down. So the dislikes.
So wait, you think they're gonna do the Daniel Bryan? The audience has told us what they want. We're gonna give it to them.
Well, I always say you be right about stuff, and I hate it because you predict stuff. You just said history repeats itself. 10 years ago, they did this at 30. It's 40 now, so they might.
No, but they did.
It.
But they ran that play when they forced Daniel Bryan into that match with Edge and Roman because no one wanted Edge and Roman one-on-one. So you can't rerun the same play when you ran it for the same person. Like, because I was thinking about
have no idea what they doing
earlier, like when they forced Bryan into that match with Edge and Roman, because it was like, this is going to be the main event. Like, huh?
How we know?
Because we were all around that time. It was just a real like, what? Like, this is their Edge, Roman Reigns. Like, who wants to see this? Like,
I do.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
well, oh no, people can be wrong in their beliefs. Okay, you can still be wrong and believe what you believe.
Y'all didn't want to watch Adam Copeland. What's his character on? I don't even watch that shit.
No, Adam Copeland. Yeah, you just
the same thing. It's been for 20 plus years now. Just same thing, and grabbing his hair. And
grit.
Like
it's him going like grit, like that's where he shakes his head like that. Like
that same as flower as pillow spear that he does, the worst spear in history. Same
Okay. He's done it off He's done it off a ladder though. All right, I got to give him credit for that. You see Roman Reigns? You see Roman Reigns doing that?
Yeah, second best spear. Pause.
But you see him doing it off a ladder?
He would. It don't matter.
He would.
I seen it live 20
what do you mean? He can't. He doesn't get off the fucking couch. How's he gonna climb a ladder?
I mean, at home with his kids.
Yeah, he got a lot of kids. He probably, he too tired to do a spear.
He's Samoan.
That's why he's on PTO all the time. His kids just draining his energy, bro. He's like, fuck.
Yeah, Tony might be joking, but I think he's right, bro.
I gotta come home.
No. For real, he wants to be a father. This is what I've told people. Like, he doesn't have a personality to be a face because he's a family man. And I don't even mean that as a diss. I'm like, he's not the face of the company because he's literally a family man. He goes home. He's with his wife and kids. He doesn't want to be the star promoting this and that and being on the talk shows and all that because he's not a talkative guy. Watch him on Sneaker Shop and it's boring. Bro, you ain't saying anything entertaining.
His best conversation piece is when he was out of character ranking the Super Bowl picks on ESPN.
Because that's something he cares about. Because he's a grown man who likes football. Like, what do you mean?
But he was excited about that. He was like, "Oh no, Chiefs right here, 49ers right here." So yeah,
ask him about wrestling, and he's gonna be like, "Oh god, wrestling. Okay, yeah, I'm the tribal chief, I guess. You know."
And I understand that because it's like, bro, if I work a job, I mean, be it that his job pays a lot of money, but it's just like he treated like a job. Like, bro, when I'm done, I'm about to go home, and that's perfectly fine. Well,
Brock Lesnar did the same thing, and people kept crying about him too, though. before we knew he was a. Again, I'm not shocked Brock Lesnar is a sicko. Okay, the man hunts. If you're a hunter, you're a sicko.
Shit, you might be right.
That's a big jump from hunter to whatever the fuck.
Is it? When you think, is it? If you hunt animals, you can be hunting human. So.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Collecting piles of pee is crazy in Cup Show.
No, that made sense when he was like. That's when he's into that sick shit. You can tell. You can tell.
Who? I mean, you see his wife.
Amp did say he married like a 60-year-old. That episode of Random Acts podcast was great this week. Check out that episode. He's like, he married a 60. Yeah, allegedly. You are right, Chris. Attorney Chris Brown is right. That is a huge allegedly.
Yeah, but we don't want to get sued. I ain't got shit.
If you are a hunter, that's a lot of times they look into when people are serial killers and shit like that. Like, do they have a experience with weapons or hunting or anything like that? You know, profiling.
Like the bad Michael Myers 2 movies that were made.
Yeah.
He was like killing rats as a little kid or some shit.
Yeah. Ugh. Those movies were just gross to look at. Ugh.
Yeah, I rewatched one like a couple months ago, and I was like, "This movie's not good. This movie's just like boring as fuck."
Yeah, I only watched 20 minutes of the first Rob Zombie Halloween. I'm like, this is not for me, pal.
It was Rob Zombie too. He's a hack. His music career was horrible. So, what made y'all think he could make movies?
What? Who else made? I'm trying to think of someone who in the same vein could make a movie. I mean, Beyonce makes her movies, so.
Those are concerts.
Hey, it ain't me, yo.
No, I'm saying like artists, like like when they pick artists to make movies, I'm trying to think like there has to be some other.
Superman on Straight Outta Compton.
No, I mean like actually wrote and directed their movies. No, did they not? The Wash. Didn't he direct or star in The Wash? Ice Cube. See, Ice Cube did Players Club. Banksy. There you go.
Well, Dre was allegedly Superman punching bitches, so allegedly.
All right, Banks. What do you got to plug before we get out of here?
Nothing. I'm just glad Antonio is here. Y'all know the podcast I do. If you don't know or you don't care, I don't give a rat's ass. But at the same time, BVD, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, tell some people about it. We tell the truth here because we don't give a fuck. As you can see in my face. Otherwise, Nat, go Tar Heels, beat out if you listen, go fuck yourself. And all Duke fans, I hate Duke. I hate the organization. Y'all want to be upset about stuff. Y'all get upset about wrestling. Nah, I get upset about real sports. Disrespect, but no disrespect.
First of all, college sports. Okay, calm down.
It's real to me, damn it. What the Michigan fans said, it's real to me. Like, this means something to me. This is real, all right? Go Tar Heels, man. Fuck Duke and the organization.
You ain't. Oh my God. All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Davis, aka Trip. We'll be back next week talking about Argyle, talking about a bunch of other things. The late Carl Weathers we'll be talking about as well. R.I.P. to the legend. We don't have time to talk about him today. Possibly previewing the Super Bowl. After the Super Bowl, we'll have a special guest, someone I've reached out to. And again, Antonio, thank you. Again, we've been chatting online for a number of years now, thanks to the Black Announce Table Discord and Twitter and all that. You're always a fun follow. So follow Antonio on that. You know, he doesn't want to be called
the funniest people in history, bro. Not because you go David Antonio by far. I tell him
that's why we wanted him on. And the way it broke out, I wanted to have him on because it's like, they're setting up Cody and CM Punk at the Rumble. You know, it'll be cool to have him come on and be like, yeah, isn't this great? My goat's going at it. And it just took the leftist turn of all right into Shitsville. And I'm like, I couldn't pray. I'm not Drew McIntyre. I prayed for this. I could not pray for that, bro. Like, I'm like, as I told this mix, like, I was almost going to reach out to him the last few days, like, hey, we still good for a Saturday? But it kept getting worse day by day with the CM Punk injury and then the Rock rumor. And then when it actually happened, I'm like, I'm just going to let the man come on the show, let him speak his piece. You were more calm and relaxed because, I mean, people have heard me on episodes in the past from BRP, White Noise, Banks for Davis Arrive. Again, I did the voice tweet from the parking lot after seeing Fast 9 when I expressed how upset I could be at something I'm passionate about.
One of the funniest days of my life, bro.
Versus when I told you about Argyle, I was just like, but again, it's not bad in terms of like dog shit. It's not good. It's a real like, okay. But yeah, as it kept getting worse day by day, that was just astounding to me. Just like CM Punk's injured, and now Cody Rhodes gets his WrestleMania spot. Have you looked into like me in a way, or like why does the shit I like go wrong? Like, because that's what happens. Like again, my team's in the Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl and then back-to-back NFC title games. And one of the games, the quarterback got injured on the second or third drive, and I'm like, why does this happen to me? Like.
And it ain't over.
It's just God punishing me for seeing the Lakers win a title so early, you know. Because I do remember the last of the three-peat like a little more vividly with Kobe and Shaq. And then I just saw Kobe in power right away, and then I saw LeBron. So God's like, you get the Lakers, but everything else.
Again, you get Otani, and it's like the team's horrible.
Oh.
My team doesn't get Otani either time.
Yeah, when he came here, I didn't know why it was a big deal. And then I saw him play. I was like, oh, this is like the greatest player of all time. And then he left.
You know, yeah. When he came over, everyone's like, "This is the guy who's supposed to hit and bat at the same time. I mean, hit and pitch at the same time." I'm like, "Okay, sure." And it's like, oh my god, like. But thank you to all the people in the chat. Again, like Bank says, like, subscribe, share, all of that. Check out the shorts, the clips that Banks cuts out. We'll be back next time. Peace.
Thank you guys.